All right, and we are live. Hi, everyone out there in the wonderful lands of Twitch. This is John with Rook and Rasp here for the grand kickoff of NerdburgerCon. Of course, this is the famous and wonderful moment that we need to be sure, really quick out there in the wonderful lands of Twitch. Can you hear us? It's time for that daily Twitch seance. Can you hear us? And it looks like we are good and everything's going out right. Well, hi, and welcome to a great evening of Capers. We are kicking off Nerdburger Games, and we have some friends out there. Hey, Sean, thank you so much for coming in tonight. And we are very happy to have the honor of kicking off NerdburgerCon 2021. Tonight, we have Nerdburger Craig himself joining us, Craig Campbell, to be the GM. And I want to definitely be sure to toss out there one more announcement before we go through our cast. And that is that tonight we are going to be doing a special support stream. There is a link that is going to be popping up. You'll be seeing it ever so often. That is support for the Trevor Project. Nerdburger Games is going to be donating $100 plus $100 more for every increment of $500 donated throughout this. So please, guys, there's going to be a link in that. Click on the link and go and donate. If you're going to be watching this link, if you're watching this later on our YouTube, I'm going to say, hey, please go and donate anyways. Even at the end of this con, go donate. Trevor Project is a wonderful thing, and I'm so proud that the role playing community in general helps it out. But that said, let's go ahead and get some introductions done. And I'm going to go ahead and start off. And Craig, why don't you go and introduce yourself?
Oh, hi. I'm Craig Campbell. I'm the owner of Nerdburger Games and the designer of Capers, a superpowered game of gangsters in the Roaring Twenties. So that's what we're going to be doing. You can notice some of the hats here. Harkening back, I design role-playing games and publish them. NerdburgerCon is going on, as you said, starting full swing tomorrow. There'll be games to play, so make sure to check that out and donate tonight. Yeah, that's the whole deal.
All right. And tonight for the game for Craig, we have coming back as a little bit of a surprise for everybody. We have part of the cast of Growing Shadows. So let's go ahead and go around the table and introduce everybody. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Tuan.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Tuan, from I play Guy from our Growing Shadows Ninjas RPG, and today I will be joining you as a very humble dry cleaner, set in 1920s era America with special powers and other nonsense. We'll see. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
All right. Thank you so much, Tuan, for coming on for this. And next to Tuan, if you're looking at our Twitch layout, we have Steven.
Hi, I'm Steven. I play Chet in our Growing Shadows game. In this game, I'm playing Arthur Saxon, former circus strongman, current crime man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steven, for coming on as well. And coming up in the bottom left corner, we have Justine.
That's me. I also from Growing Shadows. I play Ronto. Tonight I am playing Marty the Kid. I'm a paper hawker by day, but by night I am a criminal underground errand boy.
Awesome. And thank you so much for coming on. And tonight, I'm John. Usually, I am part of the people who run Rook and Rasp, and I'm a GM most of the time. Tonight, I have the opportunity to play, and I am playing Nicholas Carver, and I am a confidence man and a lifelong criminal. So that is where we're going to start off. And Craig, from here on in, it's your show.
Ooh, exciting. Oh, it's 1928. The United States, the production, sale, and distribution of alcohol is illegal, has been for several years. And the Bureau of Prohibition is at a loss about what to do about the blossoming organized crime rising up throughout the country. the government was not prepared for the sheer number of criminal elements that would take advantage of a thirsty populace, um, loving their booze, loving their liquor, loving their beer, and outlawing it didn't really do the job. It's still out there. It's still everywhere. It's being manufactured and in bathtubs and in backwoods mills. It's being imported into the country from other countries. It's being smuggled in. It's being transported all over the place. And our story is set in New York City, which is a bustling borough, bustling series of boroughs in 1928. We're going to be setting things more or less in Manhattan. In New York City, there are a number of gangs, dozens really. They are held in check by a series of uneasy truces brokered by a man named Arnold the Brain Rothstein. He is one of the bigwigs in the underground in illegal activity in New York, and he's managed to keep the peace. One of his great rivals is Joe the Boss Mazzaria. Mazzaria is old school Cosa Nostra. He is full-on Italian, Sicilian mob, and surrounds himself with many of the same. Recently, the boss has determined that he's willing to set some of his differences aside just briefly for a night, maybe for a weekend, to celebrate the wedding of his daughter Georgia. So a few days before the wedding, a group of you who are all trying to make your names for yourselves in New York find yourself working quite a bit with Carla Lucky Luciano. Carla gets her nickname Lucky because she is in fact really, really lucky, lucky to the point of supernatural ability, one might think. And she has asked all of you to go to this wedding, to the reception, and secure for her boss something that Mazzaria has gotten his hands on. Apparently, a scientist has managed to whip up something using his super smarts and create something that might change the power balance in the city of New York. At your meeting with Lucky Luciano, you made your plans and you went to the wedding reception and you made your way around and you found yourself right now. We're going to start in media res, in a room with a woman named Jill Legs Darby. You don't know how you know Jill. You don't even know why you know her name. You don't remember meeting her, but you know that's who she is. A number of other thugs, gangster types, brutes are in the room, along with a tiny little Hispanic, skinny little man with receding hairline who is cowering in a corner. You are in there. Those of you who have weapons out. Nichols, you are down to 4 hits. Good on your character sheet. Arthur, you are down to 3. Both of you badly injured from knife and bullet wounds. Skinny little guy, next to all of you, looks terrified. Reaches into his pocket, pulls out a pocket watch, opens it, presses something on the face of the watch, and suddenly all of you are in the room with Lucky Luciano 2 days ago when you were planning all of this. You know what you just saw. You're not sure how you got there. You're all fine. Those of you who were wounded are suddenly fine. And now you're in this room where Lucky Luciano has just told you that there's a wedding reception that she wants you to infiltrate and find this thing that could change the power balance in New York. Go.
Um,
Luciano looks at you. All right. Everything all right?
Yeah,
All sort of went blank-faced on me. Are you
something.
prepared for this? Are you willing to attempt this? Not, I can find somebody else.
No, 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 no. Goodness, you know me. I'm always down for little bit of fun, and this definitely sounds like something that'd be up my alley. How about you, kid?
I look at Nichols and I'm still kind of thinking about where we were like 5 seconds ago. I'm like, do you? Yeah, why not? I'm in. I'm just gonna pretend that was all a bad dream.
Yes. I fully understand what it is we are trying to do, and will do everything within my power to get it done.
And he's got a
Yes.
lot of power.
Aha!
Haha.
Luciano sort of leans back against the wall, kicks one foot up against it, knee out. You realize you're going to be on your own here. This is like nobody knows you're a part of Rothstein's crew yet. You're going to be operating more or less on your own. We want you to find whatever this thing is that people are talking about. Mazaria's people, some of his folks are talking about something that's going to change things, something that's going to allow Mazaria to take on Rothstein or to move against Diakia, to do something, to go against the Brewster Hill boys. Mazaria, as you know, is always looking to take more territory. He's always looking to cause problems. It's only a matter of time before he and his temper just go after the town. Uh, Go in, find out what you can about whatever this thing is. If you can procure it, that's great. At the very least, find out and get out alive. We can do something about this because the last thing we need is Mazaria having any more power in this city.
Uh, Pardon me for being honest, but you know me. Ultimately, I mean, we're down. We're in this. How much more is it worth if we actually get it for you?
Well, I'll say, Nichols, I appreciate you not making an offer at me to begin with, letting me make the first offer. Split amongst whoever comes back. $5,000. Aside for people, inflation is worth 15 times that amount today.
It's a lot of papers.
Yeah, I'm in, and we're all coming back together, right, Saxon?
Yeah, you look at Arthur and you just see math equations flying off of his head. He's like, that's at
Like,
least $1,000 for each of us.
yeah, buddy. Whatever you say.
What? Yes. Yes, we are all coming back alive. Why would any of us die? Ha! I've never died. I don't even know if I can. Ha ha!
Or get captured and tortured long term. Mazaria is known to do that as well. Gianna looks to you, Yulong. Awful quiet. Win?
Uh, yeah, Yulong is just kind of. He is always just kind of the quiet and silent type, rather, and so he's just kind of absorbing it all and not really sure what to make of things, and just willing to ride along until he figures out what was that we just saw just a few moments ago. So he was like, play along. It's just very. He just nods, shrugs, and doesn't really say much.
Look, I see it in your eye, Elon. We can talk about everything in a moment. Let's take care of business first.
Sounds good.
I could buy a new laundry
She
machine with all that money.
Luciano produces 4 envelopes, one for each of you. These invitations will get you in. You might run across people you know in there. You might have some help. Keep an eye out. Rothstein's not sending anybody else. No, nobody. I'm not going. No, nobody high up in the organization. Nobody with any real juice. You never know who you might find there. There's lots of people getting invited.
I put down my novelty 1-ton barbell and accept the invitation.
I'm just very quietly thinking in my head, like, is it in poor taste to try to hawk papers at a wedding? And I'm just kind of like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
So, we got invitations. I'm guessing most of us got something to wear. How are we getting there?
That's
And
for all
I,
of you to
I
work on. You've got. I mean, the reception's not doesn't begin to dinner tomorrow night. You've got time to prepare, plan, get yourself gussied up.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Luciano turns on her heel, walks toward the door, glances back. Didn't hear this from me. If Mazaria himself got hurt, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And without looking at you, she just walks out the door.
She walks out. I wait for the door to close, and I'm just like, what a woman.
No,
She's gone.
yeah.
I'll lean down to Nichols and just whisper in his ear, "If we did not hear this from her, then who did we hear it from?"
It's a phrase, Arthur. Hey, I'm guessing looking at all your eyes and the fact that you're kind of glazed over too, we saw something, yeah?
Saw something somewhere.
My guess is at this point, just looking around, I pinch myself.
I
I
pinch
think
you
that
wrong.
I think I've kind of got a idea that maybe somebody was in our heads. I've heard people being able to do it in a group. So that might have been it. And just a very unfortunately we know who it was in our heads. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
So have we out of game, have we done the wedding? Theoretically, have we done the wedding and done a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point that we would remember?
You have a hazy recollection of going to reception, of of having a conversation to plan, of getting the clothing and getting a vehicle and spending time figuring out what to do. One or two of you, knowing that you're going into the lion's den, one or two of you might have made contact with family members to say, hey, if I disappear, this might be why, depending on your relationship with them. All those just anything that you might have done in the day and a half leading up to something potentially very dangerous. You have a hazy recollection of going to the reception, of meeting a variety of people, of seeing a few people that you recognize, but you can't seem to put your finger on like who you exactly talked to that got you to that room where Darby was. You ran across people that you knew or at least had met before, but you can't seem to put your finger on who. It's all very hazy up till the point of being badly, well, a couple of you anyway, being badly hurt in that room in a very nice house with Darby and some goons and the little skinny guy with the receding hairline.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You get the impression that, I mean, you've all experienced at one point or another. You've all experienced a moment where, you have a memory, like just a very vague memory of something that happened to you in your past, and you couldn't necessarily kind of put your finger on it, but then at some point where you smelled something, or you went to a place, you went to the place where that that event took place, and everything, and sometimes things come flooding back where suddenly your brain just kind of kicks in and is like, oh yeah, that's right, this is what happened, and that was what was here. And sometimes, like, that information is also not entirely reliable, but it has the feeling of that. It has the feeling of something that was significant that happened to you a long time ago.
Hmm.
Can't recall everything about it.
Okay. All right. So let's get we're probably not figuring out whatever that was in the moment, but let's start with ride. So I have a bike and it does have a wagon.
Me too.
Look,
Oh, okay.
no,
So
no,
that's
no,
a
no, 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 no,
We have two bike.
what? My bike's not good
no.
enough?
God, no. Look, this is a wedding, kid. I'm not showing up to a wedding on a wagon.
It's got a
Uh,
bell.
look, Arthur, you got anything, or do I need to get us something?
I was just planning to jog.
And he also have a
Guys,
bike, but it's one of those big circus bikes with the big and little wheel.
Sure.
okay, okay.
Um,
I'm getting us something. I'm getting us something because no, this is not how we're going to go. Secondly, Saxon, uh,
Hmm.
look, you got a reputation, bit of a strong man.
Yes.
I'm not.
I pick my 1-ton barbell back up.
Look, I'm not interested in killing anybody. Okay,
That's fine. You don't need to.
good. All right, but that said, we need a vehicle, and we'll get one. But probably should talk about how we plan on doing this.
Well, it seems that what we need is at the reception. So, my plan is we go to the reception, ask everyone there where it is, go to it, and take it.
It's very
Okay,
diplomatic. Yeah.
we're going to keep that as a backup plan B. Uh,
Plan D.
we're going. I think we're going. Let's talking isn't a bad idea. Asking might. Let's keep that. Let's table that discussion for now. Yulong, you got anything?
I like his plan.
If it's truly as wondrous as claimed, truly the person who made it would wish to show it to anybody who's willing to see.
Okay, well, no, look, I think I'm gonna come up with the plan then. So here's what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna get a vehicle. We're gonna start there. Let's keep it very simple. This team, I think simple's good. Let's start with the basic. Let's get something that we can get there in. Okay.
Okay.
You know anybody that's got a nice car?
I I know a few people who share a car, and many of them were able to fit inside all at once, despite the size of the car.
Oh, that's perfect.
Dear God. Uh, okay, so let's get a car. Actually, look, let's get out of here. Let's go to a diner. You got to know a diner, right?
Of course, I know a diner.
Let's go to a diner. Let's start there. Then we'll get a car.
All right. I, well,
Yeah.
you
Let's go
know,
someplace and actually come up with a plan.
I guess we'll have to go to a close by diner, seeing as we don't have a car and you're staunchly opposed to jogging.
I got my bike. You can sit. Look, if you want to drive the bike, it's a little short, but I'll sit in the wagon if you're that embarrassed.
it's New York City. There are cabs everywhere.
But they have
Just
to
for
leave
the
their
record.
bikes behind.
Listen, I have bike. Why spend money on cab?
I'll meet you at the diner, okay?
Me and
Very well.
Yulong are just gonna bike together.
Need it, Max?
Yeah, Max, that sounds great. Everybody
Yes.
eats there.
It is a wonderful delicatessen. Let's be off. I
I
jog
don't
to
know where
max.
I don't know what that word means, but okay. Like I go out, and get on my bike, the little bell goes ching ching, and you could just walk beside me probably.
I will find a cab.
Probably smart because on my way, I'm like stopping at corners and I'm like, oh, I have a load of papers. And I'm like, I'll stop at a corner that looks busy and I'll start like hawking some paper. I'm probably like 15 minutes late.
If anything, I'll be right alongside you, looking at the shops along the way, looking for an appropriate gift to bring. You can't go to a reception and not bring a gift.
Are we going? Were we invited to the ceremony?
No,
Maybe
just the reception. The
Oh,
ceremony's in the afternoon. The reception's that evening.
and we're not
really,
obligated to bring a gift.
that's the that's the best wedding invitation I've ever had.
Most common gift at a wedding like this is an envelope with money in it.
Hmm. I know what's
Uh,
happening here. Gotta get a red envelope.
I gotta mm,
Red is a lucky color.
I gotta see how many newspapers I can wad up and stuff into an envelope.
Big fat envelope. Oh.
I'm also a cheapskate, so
Oh
Where'd
no!
that kid get all that money?
It just had to be a Sunday, didn't it?
Jeez.
oh my gosh, they're gonna be day old papers. Oh no, that's gonna get me killed. I better not.
Yes, that's what's going to get you killed.
Eh, Newspapers are forever. People in this town take newspapers very seriously.
Do do convertibles exist in the 1920s?
Absolutely.
Hmm?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Um,
I think that would be best, as I am a 7 foot tall, very muscular person.
Just
well, I mean, and here's the thing too. This is a one shot. We're not playing capers to get counting, so I didn't like sit down and assign you a bunch of money and say now go spend all your money for the one shot. It's reasonable if one of you has it would be reasonable for one of you to have a car. It would be because a lot of people have cars, especially in New York City. It would be reasonable, if you've got you have money. Like if you wanted to just gift money, you can do that. If you want to buy some nice clothes, you can just tell me that we don't have to necessarily role play out going to get all of that stuff, so we can kind of keep things rolling. But like
Listen,
if whatever it is your character, however you want to kind of take care of that, will you're not being you weren't chosen because you're a bunch of vagabonds who couldn't walk into a fancy hotel or a nice house.
I get the couple a very nice bottle of fermented grape juice.
now, can we at least have it so that one of you guys needed to have some fancy clothes, and we just went through my laundromat's lost and found to find something that comes remotely close to looking fancy enough? There we go. We have a volunteer.
Maybe
you
not
get
even the lost and
me a little
found, the
bow tie.
actual clothes on the racks that are due back to people.
Oh no! I'm down for
It's
this.
okay. We'll wash them again when we're done. We'll put them back on the rack before
Exactly.
they come to pick it up.
Yeah, just
So
charge them twice.
I'm
They
wearing some
probably
kids
won't
Sunday
notice.
best.
I'll take out a handkerchief, and I'm not going to clean the dirt off your face, but I'm going to rearrange it in a fancier pattern.
Very nice. Very artistic.
And I'll get us a car. I will probably, as a confidence man, for say that we're hand waving that. I'll just because I had figured my character didn't really have one,
Here,
but he will convince somebody to give him one.
let's do this. The characters have a pool of moxie. It's a resource that you can spend on a variety of things, including how we'll be flipping cards and doing game mechanic things, which we'll get to. I would like to point out one of the ways you can spend moxie is to basically alter the narrative in some, kind of useful but not overpowering way. So, John, if you wanted to spend a moxie to say that you recently took a New York socialite woman for and basically got her to give you her car
Hell yeah,
out of
why not?
from whatever con that you ran, you can describe that for us a little bit. Spend a moxie, and poof, you have a car.
Yeah, no, it
So
was a
give us
socialite.
like a flashback scene or a quick narration. Like, how'd you get a hold of the car?
Well, so I met a lady gambling and convinced her that a little bit of let's just say that I convinced her I loved her and that I was you know I was like, yeah, and I'm probably about 10, 20 years her junior. And I was just like, she was a cougar, and I was like, hey, let's go for it. Come on. I would love to come pick you up after work sometime or come, take you out to the country, but I don't have a car.
What's her name?
Oh,
Says the GM. Pen ready.
It is that's
So let's
the
go with
bane of any RPG player.
now let's pull from multiple sources. So
Okay,
we'll go with
you can go.
Josephine Pembroke.
I'm
There you
writing that
go.
one down.
Josephine is such a great name from that era.
Oh no.
And just something for everybody to keep in mind when you're making a backstory and so forth for your character is keep in mind you're in New York, which is a city of immigrants. If you can think of it, there's a person with that name and or country of origin, ethnicity, religion. If you can think of it, it's here. If it's anywhere, it's in New York. Even though we have a proclivity of Italian and Irish and Jewish gangsters in New York, there's certainly a much wider variety than that.
Room for all.
Yes. Yeah, the criminal underworld of New York City is fair game for absolutely anybody. Anybody can get gunned down in the street or end up in
No.
prison.
All right.
It's a meritocracy. All right.
Okay, so you've got a
A nice little convertible, right?
you've got a Dusseldorf, yeah, like
Ooh,
the,
yeah.
the great thing about cars in this era is that like the big companies that we think of right now are little companies. Like cars are made by little shops. Like there's one factory that makes this car, and there's engineers and proprietors for these shops from all walks of life, all ethnicities. So you've got a Dusseldorf. If you ever, when you go to Gen Con, there's an old, like a Dusseldorf, like museum or something, not too far from the convention center. It's got the names real big. We noticed it when we were driving in one year.
I'm gonna have to track that down.
But yeah, fancy like burgundy 4-seater convertible. And you can outfit yourselves with clothing appropriate. Is anybody doing anything out of the ordinary beyond like suit and tie kind of thing? Is anybody doing anything stands out a little bit more than that? And you're perfectly welcome to do so.
An old-fashioned silken robe.
Ooh, that's going to be very noticeable.
hmm
Excellent.
I let you long, by the way, pick whatever, because it's his shop, his rules. Whatever you want to dress me in, your game.
Um, Sunday best clothes. It's like you know how they had like suits for children um for young boys that had like the shorts and whatnot. It's like one of those.
Uh,
Suit, coat, and knickers.
mhm.
I think so.
Maybe like
Yeah,
a little bow tie if I'm
with a
lucky.
little bow tie,
Oh,
kind of like
how,
Conan, Detective Conan.
Yeah. Okay.
old is Marty?
Marty
Okay.
is 12 going on 13.
Okay, so not dressing in frocks anymore. Dressing in man clothes.
That's right. I may be a paper boy, but soon I'll be
A
a
paper
paper
man.
man.
Oh, and how about this? How about this? We weren't able to find the exact right size, and so it's a little big on you. It's like
Nice.
you're swimming a little bit in this.
That seems appropriate. I think one of my descriptions is clothing that is just slightly too big.
There we go.
Grow into it, right?
One day.
I have
Two
somewhat
weeks.
the
2 weeks from now, it'll fit perfectly.
I have
Yeah.
somewhat the opposite problem, as it seems the suit that I am wearing is just clinging on for dear life.
You've got
And
George Costanza clothes, and Marty has
yeah,
Kramer clothes because that was the
Oh
thing they did in
no.
Seinfeld. George wore everything a size too small, and Kramer wore everything a size too big.
Maybe
yeah.
we should just swap. You want to swap outfits?
Look even worse in the knickers outfit.
We are never getting to this diner. We're just gonna
I
have
mean,
a fashion montage.
so right, we can and you spend whatever you have your time to plan and talk about how you want to handle all of this. I mean, it doesn't have to happen at the diner immediately. You've got basically a day to do it. We're not going to roll through the whole day. Obviously, there's story to be had at the reception. But if there's anything you all want to discuss right now, it would probably be useful to know if anybody's going to be packing a weapon.
Yeah, I have,
Though
I have my
all of you are sort of weapons unto yourselves, given that you are all capers, you are all people with superpowers.
I've got my weapons with me.
And what are your weapons?
Bam, bam. It's a pair of brass knuckles.
Smith and Wesson.
Oh no.
I've got
I've
Lock and load.
There you go.
I've
I
got
won't be carrying any weapons.
ooh. Do you typically carry weapons?
No, not at all.
Mm. I've
Marty,
got
are you gonna have a newspaper that's actually a switchblade?
I was about to say, um, I have a slingshot, like the kind of kid kind where you pull it back and a little sack of, just like rocks and marbles. And then I have just a really tightly wound rolled up newspaper from like last Sunday that didn't sell, but no switchblade.
Too long?
Yulong will leave a pair of brass knuckles in the car, but will not take them in with him into the reception. Now, he will have what he considers weapons, but to the average person will not be considered weapons. Do you want me to actually describe it now, or shall we save that for like a more exciting reveal when I actually use them?
We can do that. We can save them.
Right.
Just marveling at the gangsters with nary a Tommy gun to be seen. It's okay. Be one shooting at you later. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so you've got invitations, you've got a vehicle, you're going to be dressed appropriately. Nobody's going to be walking in wearing a potato sack. If you want to discuss kind of the approach you want to take, we can do that. But we can also whenever you're ready, jump ahead and get to the reception.
The place that the reception is being held, is it a privately owned building or is it a public building?
It's being held at the Plaza Hotel, which is on the south end of Central Park. The entire 9th and 10th floors have been rented out by Mazzeria. 9th floor, kind of in the center of the 9th floor, is like a ballroom that's like a double height, so it actually kind of goes to the 10th floor as well, or at least that high. And then around it and then down the wings there are additional rooms, and there's a kitchen that feeds that ballroom, and it's a swanky place on the park.
Okay.
It's rented out for exactly this sort of thing.
If we visit our local library, will we be able to obtain blueprints for this building?
At the library, no, but at the planner's office you could.
Okay.
Actually, you could. I mean, You could get a sense of the layout at the hotel itself, given that there's usually with hotels like this, in order to be able to sell those types of facilities, like, here's a ballroom and kitchen, and we can do, receptions and big events and things. They have some sort of um, effectively marketing material. They've got, like something that, they can show you what it looks like. You could fake your way in and ask, like, hey, I'm thinking about hosting an event at this place. Like, how much can I get for this much money? Like how much laid out? Like, what can you do with it? You could, do that whole discussion with a staff, with the clerk at the hotel.
Hmm.
So we could potentially maybe take like a tour prior to the wedding.
You could do that.
So how would you guys like to? I'm assuming we're all at the diner now. Just this is part of planning. How do you want to approach this? Obtain the blueprints, or visit the place ourselves?
Hmm.
Well, let's get the there's always a chance for both. But my plan personally is to find someone and the boss's retinue there at the building. I'm gonna take a look inside their mind, figure out if they know anything, where anything is, and convey that to the rest of the group. We'll go from there, figure out where it is. Do we actually believe that whatever he thinks is going to be this power or this thing that's going to shake up the balance? Do you think he'd actually bring it to the wedding?
Well, it's always possible. It may be the grand unveiling of such a thing.
Some
Though,
sometimes, like when they get bored of the reception, he might go off with his, business goons and maybe show it off.
Yeah, it's going to be a question, but that's why I'm gonna look inside somebody's brain, figure it out from there.
now I do want to ask something that doesn't feel in my character to notice because according to my sheet, I'm not very observant. Do you think possibly the pocket watch we saw that sniveling man pull out, could that be the object we're looking for? You all noticed too, didn't
Hmm.
you?
I I
I don't
assume we
know.
did all notice, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
remember anything specific about it. I don't know.
It seemed
I
he
still have to
pulled it
figure
out.
it all out.
He pulled it out, pressed the button, and then we were back in the room.
Mm. It
What if we
do you
find out
think
who that sniveling man was and coax a couple answers out of him?
couldn't hurt?
Hey, like I said, I don't want to kill anybody, but getting answers sounds good.
All right. I'll turn to the people in the booth next to us. Excuse me, sir.
Oh
Have
no.
you uh, have you recently seen a very frightened man?
The couple and their child in the booth just uh no, sir. What?
Stop. No, seriously. Sorry. Uh, Here, let me buy you
uh,
some pie. Arthur, you gotta stop doing this.
Kind of slink back down in their booth, and um
This is
the woman, like, the man is kind of like looking quietly to his daughter, and the woman, the wife, is kind of looking at you like terrified. Just this huge man just started talking to me.
yes, that's exactly what he looked like.
He's-
Just pop up over the bench and just be kind of like, "It's okay. he gets a little confused sometimes. He's very friendly.
This is going to take all day if you guys aren't on my side.
Look, Arthur, there's places to ask. Dinah isn't it? Ask this question when we get to the hotel. How's that sound?
Fine, fine.
He's fine.
Okay, yeah.
So what's up next?
I mean,
So
are we gonna split off? Are we gonna split the party? Split off into teams?
doing some prep work.
I think
I'm
we
planning on
can.
going to the hotel. Who wants to go with me there?
I think I'll go try to get the blueprints. And it's
I
probably better if a business owner and a con man go together. And a very
I'm a,
strong and a very big person and a very small person go together.
I'm a business person.
For the record, you could if you go to the planning office, you could potentially get a look at the blueprints. You would not likely be able to take them with you, and there is no such thing as a photocopier.
Okay, I can't just take out my phone and take a picture.
No, no, you could
Right.
sit down and you could sit down with vellum and sketch it.
Mm.
Draw the whole thing on another
You
piece of paper.
you do have a
Hmm.
lot of unsold newspapers.
I You take that back. I sell most of my newspapers. I Puberty hasn't hit me yet. I'm still cute. I still got it.
He's been discovered smooching yet. Still just
Got a
dedicated to the newspaper craft.
I've got a very, very dedicated craft. I've got a very dedicated trade. I'm part of the Hawkers Union. It's mostly small boys that make up the union, and this is actually real. It's a union of small boys from what I understand, but they have their own grind. Um, so I can go with you to get blueprints if you would like.
Yeah, let's
And
do it.
then maybe along the way I'll scout out some other hawkers, scout out my group and see if anybody on the streets knows anything about who might be attending this wedding. May not be the right group of people to ask, but I figure it can't hurt.
If you spend a lot of time on the street, I mean, like there's a whole network of people that just kind of exchange information and everything. Sometimes it costs money or favors. It's not out of the question.
Okay. Then yeah, if we want, we could go for blueprints first, and then once we do that, I'll just kind of peek around, see what my guys know.
That sounds great to me.
How about we do it like this? You go, Arthur, to get the blueprints. Go to the planning office. A clerk meets you at the desk. You can request the blueprints. You tell me how you're going to do that.
I show
Um,
her my library card.
she says, "Sir, the city library is 7 blocks over and 3 blocks down. This is the planning office.
Yes, but I need reading material only found here.
What are you looking
Yeah.
for, sir?"
I
I
want to.
need to look at the blueprints for whatever hotel it is you said earlier.
The plaza.
The Plaza Hotel.
I'll just peek up over the counter and I'm like, we're gonna he's gonna be an architect when he grows up. I'm gonna teach him how to draw, but we'd like to look at some blueprints and for some visual reference and some practice, if you don't mind.
It's a hell of a story. Let's have you make a charisma check. Um, here's how this works. To make trait checks, you'll flip cards. Each of you has 6 traits: charisma, agility, perception, expertise, resilience, and strength. This will be a charisma check. When you make a trait check, you will take a look at. Let's walk through this with you, Justine.
Mhm.
What's your charisma score?
I have a charisma score of 4.
Okay. Do you have a skill that's kind of applies appropriately to this?
I do have diplomacy.
Excellent. Also, this is how this works. You'll make a trait check by flipping a number of cards equal to what is called your card count. You get your card count by taking your trait score, in this case 4, and adding 1 if you have the appropriate skill. In this case, you do. So your card count is a 5. That means you get to flip up to 5 cards one at a time. There will be a target score with a pip value that I will set. You will not know what it is. You'll flip a card, and each time you flip a card, you can choose to stick with that card or flip another card. When you flip to the new card, the old card is gone. You don't add them up or anything like that. You're always looking at the card that's on top. The pip value of the card determines success versus failure. For example, you might need a 9 or better. You might need a jack or better. This is our high, by the way. The suit of the card determines the degree of success or failure. So even in combat, that becomes your damage, like how good your result is, even based on, you have success or failure, but then how good or how bad is it? So it's all in one card flip. This suit determines degree of success or failure, starting at clubs, which is the worst, going alphabetically up, diamonds, hearts to spades. Spades is always the best suit. So you could conceivably flip a king of clubs, for example. That is a very high pip count, almost certainly a success, but it's clubs' worst suit, so it comes with a complication. You could stick with that card and eat the complication, or you could flip another card and hope for a good enough pip value with a better suit. If you get to your last card, you're stuck with that one, but you can stop
Okay.
at any time. You've got 5
Okay.
cards to flip. If you want to use any boosts as you're doing this, I don't know what all of your boosts are. We can incorporate that for people listening. The characters all here have superpowers, and each power has a basic ability, and then there are a series of boosts, which are kind of sub powers that either modify and improve the core ability, or perhaps they provide you with some kind of perk that's kind of related to what the core ability is. If
Okay.
you use any boosts, it will modify your card count for whatever check you're making.
Okay. For my super charisma, I do have the liar boost, but I'd still also for the mechanics of the game. I don't know if this will negate card flipping. I'd like to do it if we can. It's all NPCs automatically believe the next lie you tell as long as it's with the bounds of reason. Now, that being said, would I have needed to activate that prior to my story that I told her?
Um, Essentially,
Okay.
you'd have to bring that into play. I mean, there would be we'll make a check involved. So like basically there'd be a check, don't fail this check, and like everybody is just like totally on board. Like where normally like you could get like success that like they're willing to go along with you, but they're a little don't know if I believe that.
Hmm.
But with that boost, like boom, like as long as you succeed, they totally everything.
Okay.
So you can, if you want to use that as part of your story, we'll retroactively apply it easily enough and have you make a check. Because you're using a boost, you reduce your card count by 1. Every boost that you
Mm.
use at the same time as making checks is kind of takes up a little bit of your concentration and your focus, and so you're a little worse at what it is you're trying to do. So you went from 4 up to 5, back down to 4 for using that. So as long as you manage to pull off a success, that like this clerk will just up and believe you.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it then. Okay, then I will, and I won't know what the success, the magic number I'm going for is, will I? Okay. Ooh, I kind of like
I
that.
won't tell you, and I will not tell you until you settle on your score on the card flip.
Okay,
I'm not
I
going to tell
like
you, oh,
that.
that fails, and give you the chance to flip again. It's a gamble.
Yeah,
Basically,
that
the
makes
the, the
sense.
whole system, every trait check in this game is a press your luck gambling game.
Okay, so I have first draw. Um, I have a jack of, and you're gonna have to pardon me if I misdo it. A jack of diamonds. I don't play with cards a lot. Um, and I'm thinking that's good if I remember. And colors, do colors also affect?
Specifically, the suit starts with clubs. Diamonds is the second up, so it's like
Okay.
a little worse, but it's not clubs.
Okay.
Clubs always comes with a complication. Now, something you can do is you could stick with that jack. For the
Hmm.
record, this is good for everybody to know. A 9 is a moderate task.
Okay. Um,
So it's not
okay.
too bad. You could stick with that. You could try to flip and get something higher. There are ways to go, like if you really bone out and get like really low cards, you can spend Moxie to go back to that jack. This is where
Okay.
I start tempting people with to
I
flip
know.
more cards and try to see maybe if we pull a really really bad one.
Like that's like the push your luck aspect. I'm like, oh, but I do want to see what happens next. I think because it's early, I'm gonna be good, and I think I'll stick with my jack for now.
Put that in your discard pile.
Yes.
You weave your little tail. The big dumb guy standing next to you kind of, I guess, maybe helps a little bit. Like he clearly needs some help learning how to become an architect. Um, and the clerk says, I suppose I could give you a glimpse. Give you a little look at the blueprints. I can't. Um, Obviously, you can't take them with you. We have just the one set in the office. There might be two, but probably only one. Um, if you wanted to get a look at them to see what those sorts of drawings look like, yeah. But you'll need to come back here. I'll need to have somebody from the office stay with you while you're in the viewing room.
It's totally fine. It was always Ma's dream for her little boy to grow up to be an architect. And then I just like pretend to wipe a tear from my eye. Um, but yes.
And she takes you, hands you off to another staff member who takes you to a viewing room. Takes a little time, digs up the plans for the Plaza Hotel, and lays them out on a table and gives you a chance to look at them. The planning employee stays in the room with you. What are you looking to glean specifically? Like, for example, I don't have floor plans of the Plaza Hotel handy, so I can't just give you a big layout. I can give you the general gist of it. There's a central core area, has uh, um, when you get to some of the upper floors have like these ballrooms that are in them, and they're surrounded. Basically, there's the ballroom, there's a kitchen adjacent, attached to it, and then it's surrounded with rooms of various sorts. Some are support rooms, mechanical, electrical, janitor closets, all that sort of storage, but also occasionally small sitting rooms and salons. And then down the two wings, there's an east and a west wing, is where you get to hotel rooms. So there's two stairs in the core area and a stair at the end of each wing, and there's a elevator bank in the center of the core area.
So my thought outside of character is that most likely if he's going to be showing this thing off, it's going to be in a spot close to the ballroom that'd be easy to slip away to and slip back into the ballroom from most likely unnoticed. So that's what I'm thinking to look for in the blueprint plans. In game, in character, I'm going to be peppering the employee with a lot of very inane, very uh, trivial questions while I let our resident urchin
To read the
copy some of the
blueprint.
plans. Well,
Okay.
to copy the blueprints or
I just
something,
I j-
whatever it is you think you can do.
yeah, I
And
guess
While
this
I
is
just
where I wondered why you were bringing her rather than one of us.
she's
Right.
small, she can. Well, he's small. He can take what's needed.
I
Giant seven
just
foot tall guy. Let's see a charisma check out of you.
Okay.
oh
To
no.
be engaging and inane, but not alarming. Like you're and not look like you're trying to distract someone.
Okay.
Oh no. We should have said I was gonna
Uh,
be the architect.
I got two. So I got a seven of clubs. I'm going to not use this card. I'm going to throw that away. King of hearts.
Don't throw it too far. You will
All
be able
right.
to reshuffle it eventually.
Well, yeah. King of hearts. I'm keeping that.
Okay, going on the King of Hearts. How many cards did you have to flip?
2.
Exactly 2. That's what your card count
Nice.
was?
Yep. I don't have any good charisma skills. I'm all about hitting.
Gotcha. You managed to kind of keep the employee distracted enough for Marty, the kid, to formulate like in his mind the layout and kind of figure out like, okay, this is here, this is there. There's um the hotel room was or the hotel plans were the hotel was built before Prohibition, so there are on right near the um ballroom, there's even a bar described like this room here is a bar. I don't know if it's actually a bar now.
I look at this and I'm thinking about my dad is a drafter, so he does blueprints, and I'm like thinking about I'm like, oh, there sure are a lot of lines on this. I'm doing my best to kind of copy down, and I take out a newspaper and I start kind of like finding some blank areas and trying to make like little thumbnail sketches of the rooms and stuff. I'm like, okay, I
Sure. I
think
mean,
that's a
it's a matter of
window.
like making the shape and just kind of labeling some
Yeah.
areas. 'Cause a lot of it is like rooms that you wouldn't be able to do anything with, like I said, storage and
Hmm.
electrical rooms and um, senator rooms and a lot of hotel rooms, suites. So the most notable rooms are pretty easy to pick out.
Yeah.
All right, back
Okay.
to our other two. What are you two up to? Well, they are having their escapade at the planning office.
Uh, so I'm gonna drive Yulong and myself if he allows, and we're just gonna find a parking place nearby the hotel and walk on in. So see if we can get an idea of what it's like just walking up to it.
Okay, well, the Astor Hotel is a massive masonry building. It's 15 stories tall, which is pretty tall for 1928. Um, there's a bank of multiple elevators. A big, it's what you think of as like a classy old hotel to look like. You walk in, it's a big lobby, double height space. There are rooms off to the side that were clearly at one point like that was like that one's a smoking room and it still is, but that was probably a bar, but it's not anymore. It's like a boutique store. um, and it's been like, well, what was once a bar was split into like a boutique store and a soda fountain because that is the thing that happened in the 1920s. Prohibition brought about soda being popular, because a lot of the equipment could be repurposed. Um, and big front desk with multiple clerks, all sorts of people, bellhops, the whole fancy schmancy schmear going on. There's elevator banks going up on the main level. Um, you don't see any bellhops taking guests down to the wings on the main level. You would guess that on the main level, those two wings are other ancillary like other rooms. There might be like a hair salon and a barber shop and just all those other kind of nice amenities that a really nice hotel will have in it. Like a person could conceivably get all of their kind of day-to-day grooming, and they could buy food and some basic clothing, basic clothes and travel accessories and things like that without even leaving the hotel. um, so that's what you're seeing when you walk in.
Okay. Uh, looking around? Do I notice anybody clocking us or anything? I mean, with the upcoming wedding, are there gangsters already watching the place?
Let's have both of you make perception checks to
All right.
pick out if there are any people that are out of place watching. There's qu-
Um,
there's
w-
quite a, there's quite a lot of activity.
So I got an 8 of diamonds, but I get to pull 2 on my perception, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull another one just in case.
does the sense skill apply in this situation?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I also have
Perception.
sense. Oh, there we go.
I should be technically probably calling out as like, yeah, it's perception plus sense. So you have perception plus sense. So
Sure.
that gives you another card. King of Spades. That's a really good card.
So first pull for me was a 5, so that's no good. I'll
Mhm.
go ahead and keep on going. That was all your pulls, right, John?
I actually could do one more, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop with that king of spades.
All right. Let's see, 8. So I'm gonna keep on going. I have a perception of 2 plus 1 from sense that I get one more pull. Let's go ahead and keep on going one more, and I got a 5 again. So I'm probably not going to see much of anything.
Yulong does not see a darn thing. Like, ooh, look how busy it is, basically.
I'm looking at the fancy clothing. I should give coupons out to this place and get some business from here. That's where my mind is.
Nichols, you take a look around, and with spades, what this means is you get a boon. Like a king is successful, and spades, since it's the best suit, is actually a boon, which means it's like even better than a normal success. So yeah, you're able to pick out. Oh, there's the kind of classic, the guy who's reading the paper, but is actually kind of keeping an eye out on the place. There's a couple over there that is talking. And despite talking to each other, they're not making eye contact. They're both always kind of looking out. You get the distinct impression that they are like, just from the way the jackets are hanging on people, that there's likely shoulder holsters. You've seen that before. And a couple other people that look a little like, those three are pretty, you picked out pretty obviously. A couple of other people that like might be somebody that's kind of scoping the place out. Now, that said, you don't know that those are Mazaria people. You just know that they're people keeping an eye out on stuff. With the boon, we can let's say yeah. Woman approaches the fellow holding the newspaper, and this woman you recognize. You saw her before. She is sort of kind of petite, blonde, wearing a flapper dress, very long legs. She is Jill Darby. You don't know how you know that name, but you somehow know Jill Legs Darby. And she walks over and starts kind of chatting quietly with the fella who was holding the newspaper.
It's one of those things where it pops in my mind, and I'm gonna go ahead and I think I want to get a. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually use a power. I'd like to go ahead and do a telepathy, and I will use amnesia so that they will not be aware of me looking in their brain, but just
Okay.
do the surface read. So, and that amnesia is 1 on the
Okay.
effect, the boost.
So what's your activation for the power?
Activation is charisma insight versus target's mind.
Okay. Let's see what Jill's mind score is. Everybody's got a body score and a mind score. Those are effectively your target scores for checks against them. Okay. And your whatever your charisma plus insight is, -1 because of the amnesia boost. They
Yep.
won't know that you're poking around.
And so my charisma is 3, my insight gives me 1, so that's 4 pulls, right?
-1 for amnesia,
Yeah.
back
Oh
down to
yeah.
3.
So 3. All right. So first pull. 8 of spades. I'm gonna go ahead and pull again.
Okay.
Jack of spades. And I don't know if it's successful yet. So if I don't if I pull again and I'm not happy with the card, I can use a moxie to go back.
Could use a moxie to go back. One of those things you can spend moxie on is to go back to any card previously pulled on that trait check.
All right.
You couldn't go back to a card that you had pulled, half an hour ago or something like that. But you could go back to that jack if you bone out. Now, that keep in mind, Every time you flip the card, you get closer and closer to the black joker, and you can't get out of the black joker. Bad joker,
True.
sorry.
Yeah, no.
There's a good joker and a bad joker in everybody's deck. You also get closer and closer to the good joker, so.
Yeah, I don't know which one will come first. So, and I now does Moxie refresh in the game, or is it basically we have a set pool the entire game?
You can earn it back, yeah.
All right. Since I can
Something
earn it back,
you'll spend and earn over the course of the game, yeah.
all right. So since I can earn it back, I'll go ahead and do one more pull for my third card, and that is 5 of hearts. So let's go back. I'll spend a Moxie, and we'll go back to that Jack of the Jack of Spades.
Jack of Spades. What does your power do? This is successful, by the way. It's the description of the power.
All right. So
ability.
with the telepathy, I can read thoughts and project my own thoughts to others. For the rank 1, I can hear the target's thoughts for 1 round. The target knows someone is listening to their thoughts but doesn't know who. But with amnesia, that realization goes away.
So in the moment, she's aware that she's being probed. She's being mentally probed, but she, that kind of turns into a dream or a distant memory afterwards. In the moment, you poke around in her brain. You've got a boon. We'll deal with that in a moment because it was spades on your card. She is thinking, you screw this up, Frankie. Don't you let anybody get in here that's not supposed to be in here. Our asses are on the line for this. The boss has got something big planned.
All right. Hey, you long. We probably need to let's go with the elevator. Let's go. Let's take a look around.
Bing. I imagine we're in an elevator now.
Well, that was the okay.
That's the elevators. That's the
You
sound of
go-
elevators.
Get into an elevator, and there is an elevator operator. We'll press the button for you. Floor, sir?
I think it's floor 9. That's right.
Oh, I don't
right?
think so. Be a different floor, sir.
Are you sure?
See your key. The 9th floor is reserved for an event tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. The key.
They're preparing things now.
We meant floor 10.
Sorry, what did you say?
We meant floor 10.
No, sir. The 9th and 10th floor are both reserved. One without authorization is going to those floors. Starting to get a little like he's giving you a look. You're getting a stink eye.
Look, no, I remember that it was definitely a single-digit number, and I'm pretty sure it was 9. But hey, God, just go to the 8th floor, and
we'll figure it out.
I think I'm going to make an illusion and change up the numbers on the panel while he's paying attention to us, and make the 9 into the 8.
Okay.
So that hopefully he'll be pushing the 8. Hopefully, the trait, it says that it's a trait activation for that.
So you spend your trait. Like instead of making some other trait check or something for this round, you basically have to concentrate to create that illusion. You do that. This guy has been operating an elevator for quite some time. He presses buttons by rote. He could find the buttons in the dark. So I am going to make a check to see if he notices that you've switched numbers on him. An ace of hearts. He goes to press the button, looks things funny, stops, gets very confused, looks at the two of you, looks back at the buttons. Do anything?
Nah, I just look at him like, what's wrong?
Beat him over the head with a wrench.
He presses B. Not he presses the correct button for the 8th floor. He presses the 9 essentially, right? You switched the numbers. And the elevator starts to move to the 8th floor. He's just kind of he shakes his head, he rubs his eyes,
When he rubs his
back at
eyes, I change it back.
looks at the panel. Okay, looks back at
This
the
poor
panel.
guy.
Now he looks and he's like he visibly has a visible jump. Like when he stops rubbing his eyes, he looks. He's like,
Hey, buddy,
This
are you
poor dude.
okay? You're turning a little bit blue on your neck right here. Are you okay?
a long day, I guess.
Yeah, you might want to loosen the tie or that collar a bit, bud. That's might not be good for you.
Um, maybe. And then the elevator comes to a stop on the 8th floor. The doors open.
I
He
tip him. I'm
So
like, hey,
looks
take care, man.
looks expectantly for you to leave. You tip him a little, sure. Give him a nickel.
That's why they call you Nickel. All you carry are
oh
nickel.
no, oh no.
um,
So
so you're on the 8th floor.
are there any public utility rooms in on this floor, like how hotels will have like a room for like ice or like anything like that, something that would not be conspicuous for the both of us to kind of duck into for a quick second.
Um, Everything that would be kind of out of the way, out of the ordinary, would be a locked room. There's no ice machines. You would order ice from room service because there's only going to
Yeah,
be ice in the kitchen areas. Um, I mean, you could pick a lock. You could try to get into a room that you're not supposed to. I mean,
yeah,
or you could
eh,
just go into one of the sitting rooms or salons. I mean, you could get
yeah,
you could get out of view of the corridor and the
yeah.
activity in the
I
corridor
imagine
easily.
there's no like public access restrooms on since this is a hotel.
Not on not immediately as you see. I
Yeah,
mean, there's likely public restrooms adjacent to the ballroom
right.
on 9. Like spaces like that will have rooms nearby, but this floor doesn't appear to have that. Like it looks
Yeah.
like there's probably like you see like rooms with signs that say like authorized personnel only or no admittance, kind of in the core center of the building.
Mm, but you said there was like a sitting
There
room
aren't
or
where there
something
aren't
that
any windows. Sure, there's salons and sitting rooms and yeah.
I want to nod to Nichols and say, "Follow me over this way."
Sure thing.
And is there anyone in the salon right now? All right. In that case, I want to use one of my powers, Dimension Step.
Okay.
All right. And so, just thematically, I pull out a talisman from my sleeves. I adhere it to the wall. I do a little uh, uh, chant in Chinese, and uh, it energy emits from the talisman. It becomes a portal towards wherever I want it to be. In which case, it's a 6 foot diameter portal. Um,
Really
at one
noticeable. Yep.
right, but thankfully, no one else is in here. Um, and I can make the exit about 30 feet away. And I would like to use the chaperone boost to bring an additional willing participant along with me through the portal.
Just a moment. Let me double check something. Level. What rank in Dimension Step do you have?
2.
Okay. Ooh, you sucker! You son of a bitch. Yeah. Rank 2 allows you to open the other end of the portal. Up to whatever your range is away, even if you can't see that place. Normally, you
Mhm.
need line of sight. So, yeah, where are you going? Where
Uh,
are
I
you
would
taking Nichols? he wants to go.
I imagine that if this is anything like hotels are nowadays, there's a very similar sitting room just directly above us, and um,
It's a fair
so
assumption.
so I'm hoping that there's not going to be anyone else up there. So we'll see. I'm not sure if I have any senses as to where uh, the exit portal is going to be, or what this situation of the exit portal is going to be. So we're just taking a gamble here.
Okay. You open the portal. You try to haul Nichols through. Nichols, do you go with?
Yeah, why not? This sounds smart.
Right. I'm going to flip a card. Red, it's good for you. Black, it's bad for you. Red, it's good for you. You take the portal directly up the 9th floor, yes? And do you come out of the portal in the men's room?
Well, here we
Not
go.
the women's room. In the restroom. And
Hey,
there's somebody in a stall, but you're like in the the sink area, lavatories, and you emerge from the portal into there. Yulong, you've had this power for a while. You know how this feels. You know what this is. Nichols, you can react to this whole thing. It's a little disorienting in whatever way is kind of appropriate for your character to be disoriented. No mechanical anything. No game mechanics affect you in terms of this, but you just traveled through space.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, kid, what the heck was that?
don't worry about it. It's something I've learned how to do a long time ago. Come on, let's go.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Right.
You're
Getting
just
out
gonna
of the restroom.
you're just gonna leave the bath. You're not gonna wash your hands. You guys are just
Yeah.
So unsanitary. All right. You poke your head out of the restroom into the corridor, and you see what I've been describing about the 9th floor before. There's a corridor here. There's, the corridor kind of goes. You see that it's going to wrap around a pretty big area. Like you can tell, like the corridor goes down here to the front, down by the elevator, the elevator lobby, and then down along the side of the ballroom, and then back. There's another corridor that kicks off out toward the wing, on that side of the building. And there are a number of staff members who are hustling and bustling around. Some are carrying decorations like paper streamer rolls and bunting. There's the rattle and clatter of people setting things up in the ballroom, and everybody that you see immediately at the moment is kind of focused on their job. They're doing stuff, so nobody pays you any close attention right away.
Okay, taking a look around. Yeah, I'll actually. I'm gonna use illusion. I'm also gonna tell you, Yulong, just stay near me, okay? And I'll use illusion with adornment and make us look like we're part of the staff too.
Change the look of your clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not making any other trait checks or anything along with this, so the adornment boost doesn't. Adornment, the boost, what that essentially does, everyone listening and watching, is allows you not only you're not creating an illusion kind of like out there, but you're creating kind of a skin of an illusion around yourself to make some part of your appearance look different. And you do that. You have the cook and wait staff, like the whites. You're able to make your way around as long as you stay right close to one another, you'll have that illusion masking you, and you're able to make your way around the ninth floor. If you would like, what are you looking for in general, or are you just looking to get kind of a general layout,
I think
or
general layout.
are you looking for anything specific?
I know that for me, general layout, but I'm also going to say that I'm looking for maybe an area that the the gangsters here are keeping the rest of the staff away from. Like, maybe they're like, you can't go in that room, even as staff. You know, so that'll probably
Yeah.
be something I'm looking for. We do have a question from chat, and chat is asking if they can use channel points to spend anything tonight, such as if redraws or anything else for the cast, which is up to you, Craig. This is your show.
Sure. Well, I mean, the best thing to use that kind of point for is like, any of the things that Moxie could be spent for, can be spent on anyway. So it would just allow somebody to, get a Moxie effect without depleting. It'd be like a free
All
Moxie,
right.
basically.
All right, so yeah, I'll toss that out there, guys. So yeah, free use channel points. We'll say like the that was cocked is our usual expenditure. Use that expenditure for Moxie. There we go.
And yeah, you go looking to see if there's any areas that are being kind of kept more secure than normal. You find that the west wing of the building is there's staff running in and out. They're going on about their business, kind of getting things set up. They're decorating the hallways. Well, the hallway, like the main long hallway that is the west wing, all the way down to the stairwell. There's some people that are going in and out of some of the hotel rooms. Looks like they're bringing. It looks like they're like in some of the suites they're redecorating. Basically, they're bringing in different furniture or bringing in a painting or something. In the east wing of the building, as you're wandering around all of this, you find that there are three massive goons that are guarding the entry to the entire east wing of the building on the ninth floor here. They are out of place. They're not doing any decorating or work. They look suspiciously and obviously like armed thugs keeping an eye on what's going on right here.
What's your thoughts on that, Yulong?
Very suspicious. And I don't think I can repeat the same trick unless we go down and then back up from underneath. There's no, I can only do that from a certain range, and there's no convenience places to hide in here, so they're definitely going to see us if we were to do something shady.
Well, no, that's more than fair. Uh, and I got ideas for other things, not this. Uh, but the thing is, I'm thinking that that's probably where we're going to need to come. And let's just say, let's get our group back together. And I think eighth floor, we come below that area over there, that wing, and that I think that's where we need to be. That's where we need to investigate. Hopefully Arthur and the kid found something more that we can work with.
Would we be able to kind of guesstimate what part of the hotel on the eighth floor we need to go to be directly underneath the room that the guards are protecting?
Well, they're not protecting a room. They're protecting the entry to the
Oh,
east
sure,
corridor,
sure.
protecting the whole wing effectively.
Okay, got it, got it,
So
got it.
it becomes a question of if there is someone in the east wing, or something in the east wing that you're looking for, where. This is a long wing. There's
Got it.
20 rooms and suites down there.
Yeah, it's
Plus
not
whatever,
just one
plus
singular room, it's the whole. Yeah, all right.
it's that whole wing. It's yeah.
All right.
All right, so you want to get out of here, and we'll go find, go meet up with Marty and the kid, or Arthur and the kid.
I think we've done as much as we could in here. Let's get out.
How are you leaving?
I would imagine the same way. We got up here. Let's go ahead and head back to that restroom. I'll create the portal again, directly down to the that sitting room in the directly below, and hope that no one's paying attention.
Okay. You go back to the restroom, you open the door, walk in, and start kicking up the portal. Um, Nichols walks in behind you. Nichols, as you walk in, you look and you see Josephine Pembroke.
In the men's
And
room?
no, in the corridor, just before he walks
Oh.
into the men's room. He looks, she sees you, sees your face. You have made your clothing look different, but she sees your face, and you're wearing like what effectively is the uniform of staff members at a hotel. And sort of quizzical look falls over her face, and she turns around and starts walking away.
I would like to do something if I may.
Sure.
Hypnosis, and I'm going to give her temporary amnesia of that moment.
Oh no.
Okay.
So basically, with the hypnosis, you can put people in trances, extract or implant information, create post hypnotic suggestions, or modify their memories. And that's my goal. So I do have a level 1. I'm going to place the target in a trance until the beginning of my next turn. Is how it normally works, but I'm going to be using the amnesia and this or implant boost to try and change that. It's charisma willpower versus their mind.
Okay.
So here we go. Charisma willpower. All right. So my charisma is 3. And I will obviously I'm using a boost for amnesia or implant, I guess. So that lowers it to 2.
Reduce your card count by 1 for every boost you use. You get a maximum of 3 boosts in a round.
All right. So first card up. A Jack of Hearts.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and stick with that because I would only get one more card to pull. And I don't want to spend any more Moxie if I mess it up.
Okay. You are going to you're looking to essentially erase her having a memory of having seen you.
Yes.
Okay. You do that, and you think you're successful. What do you do now?
Follow you along and be like, we got to go.
And you follow Yulong through the portal, back down to the men's room on the 8th floor. And you're able to leave the hotel easily enough. Get to the 8th floor, back down.
Something happened up there?
Yeah, I
I say
saw
to
somebody I know, and I'd like to get out of here and away from this if possible. It's gonna make later events interesting for me. Well, this put it that way.
Oh, all right
And a
then.
few seconds after you've gone through the portal back down here and everything, you hear a voice in your head. Calls, and it's distinctly Josephine's voice saying, "Nice try." And we're going to take a break now, everybody.
Oh boy! All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll take a break. 10-minute timer is going to be set, and we'll see everybody back here in 10 minutes. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Just one moment.
Uh-oh.
We should be in.
Hooray!
Everybody out there, can you hear us? Are we back? So I'm gonna say
Hello.
we should be back. Everything should be going out at this point.
There we are.
I see us.
Yay! There we are. All right.
Layout looks great.
Thank you. All right. So Craig, it is all you, bud.
Right. Nice try. You heard the voice of Josephine Pembroke say in your mind, just as you started to leave the second floor bathroom, you know that ability you have, or one of those mind abilities, you can basically create like a triggered event, or a post-hypnotic suggestion, so to speak. So yeah, you're on the eighth floor. You can get the group back together. Is that the plan? I mean, you or do you want to go back up there? Because we can go back up there.
No, we're good. We're good. Let's get out of
Nichols and
here.
Elon.
You can just
Okay.
go back over to the elevator just to mess with that guy again.
Well, I imagine that we would have to do that or take the staircase. Nichols, which one do you
Okay.
want to do?
Yeah, let's get out of here. Whatever. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh, elevator then. Fastest way. Let's do it.
I'm going to try this new thing called text messaging.
Yeah.
And I write a little note as to where they can meet up with us, and I tie it to a pigeon's leg and I release it towards the plaza.
Marty, no, not on the blueprints.
You had all planned to be able to get back together at Big Mom's Diner, down kind of on the south side near Battery Park, south end of Manhattan near Battery Park. And yeah, the group of you meets back up with your respective reconnaissance, and you can figure out what you want to do here next. We can work out what your plan is, and we can whenever you're ready, we can jump to the reception, the night of the reception.
I lay my copy of the blueprints down on the table. Good luck deciphering.
I I lean over it and do I get a general idea based on what we saw when we were there?
I mean, yeah. You see the restroom you came out of, and you see the kind of the two corridors that went off. One that went kind of down the front of the building to where the elevator lobby is on the 8th or 9th floor, and then one that was like the side corridor that went down. You can see the ballroom. Basically, that whole center section is the ballroom, plus a a portion that was kind of off the ballroom that was a bar at one time or another. And then in the back of house near a freight elevator is a kitchen, with pantry, storage areas. And then you've got a lot of back of house kind of stuff. There's storage rooms and janitor room and mechanical room. And then up front, you've got on the floor plan, you've got the two restrooms, the elevator lobby. There's a sitting room, like a smoking lounge with like big leather fancy chairs. You kind of got a glimpse of that at one point, not too far off of the elevator lobby, because you did walk down that whole front of the building to get down to the east wing, and see those goons guarding the corridor.
All
And
right,
there's go ahead.
I was gonna say that corridor with the goons guarding. About how much is beyond it? Like several rooms, the equivalent of the area we already searched.
There's like 20 rooms, like 10 rooms on a side, including suites, like large, multi-room suites down that whole wing. It's like the Plaza Hotel is big, long, and it's long wings all the way down there. So there's 10 rooms or suites on a side, and then all the way down to the there's a stair tower at the end of the end.
Yeah, this area here. So there's three goons that were guarding this door, and there's this long corridor where there's. I mean, you can see how many rooms we got. Anybody got any idea? I mean, I would think it would be the furthest room from where people could be, and I think that's where we're going to find whatever it is we're looking for.
Unless he's got his own suite. But that wouldn't be on this floor though, would it?
Are they using the ninth or 10th floor? Do you remember? Was it both?
He
Mm,
said he said that both ninth and 10th floor were uh authorized access only.
So let's
Lucky Luciano told you too that the ninth and the 10th floor were both rented out for.
Yeah, I
There's
completely forgot that.
family members, and then family members, and then guests and people from out of town, and that Mazzari is trying to impress. Probably many of them are staying at the plaza on
so,
those two floors.
so my thought is let's you long take a look at this map. Figure what we'll do is we'll go. We got the invitations. We'll go to this reception. I'll find somebody that we can get a little bit more information from. We'll use your ability to go to wherever that is, or at least get as close, bada bing, and we'll do our job. How's that sound?
That sounds great. You guys
Alrighty.
didn't
Bing.
happen. Everything at the office we went to went smoothly. Everything went smoothly on your end. I'm sure. Yes.
Oh yeah, everything's smooth.
Yeah, you didn't run into
Everything's
any complications at all. You're great at your job, and I assume this is true.
Oh
there
no, I
there would be
absolutely. It's great, wonderful job.
there there would be no man or woman or other that might suspect you or get in our ways later.
Why do you keep asking this question? I don't know.
I'm
You're
not
kind of you're kind of barking up a
We're
tree here.
not.
What's going on?
We're, we're not at. We're just stating
we trust
that
you implicably.
this is all going
Yeah, of
very
course you are.
smoothly, and this is all going very well.
Much better than just punching our way in.
Yes, although we could do that, but
I'd rather punch our
wait.
way out if it comes to it.
Yes. If
That
anything else, I can punch a hole in the wall of the place that this thing is housed, and we can jump from the ninth floor to the ground.
because we
Yeah,
can all do that because we're all capable of that.
Yes, it's a very survivable fall.
I'll
We're
leave
all
a
Marvel
stack of
superheroes.
I'll leave a pile of newspapers outside a window where we can plan to make our escape. It'll be such a soft, cushiony fall. We'll land on the funnies.
yes,
That's
that's
Marty's
one way
true
to put it.
power.
Just newspapers, hawking them, flying them around.
She's like, or sorry, he's like
It's okay.
Gambit, but with newspapers.
They're just always at the right place at the right time.
For the record, the wing extends down there. It's not one big long corridor. What happens is the corridor goes down near to halfway, and then it kind of like imagine you do it like this. Goes down, and then it does sort of a jog around, like it does like a little U, because there's like a big suite, like a really extra large suite that's deeper. So the corridor goes down, does a little bump around, and then the end of the corridor kind of lines up with the beginning of the corridor. But so that there's not a clear line of sight from the core area where the goons were all the way down to the stairwell. There's a couple of corners that snake.
All right, well,
Makes sense.
Mhm.
oh yeah.
So I assume at this reception we will find the quivering man. Did you
Yeah,
happen to see hide or hair of him while you were there today?
No, I saw they got goons down in the lobby and they got goons upstairs. There's Jill Dobby's downstairs. Don't know why I remember her, but I know she's involved in all this.
Oh, you
You're
mean
all
Leg?
legs. You all kind of have that memory too. You recall ever meeting her, like formally being introduced, whatnot. But you had that experience that you all had at the beginning of this game session, where you all kind of were there with her. There was a fight. People were hurt. She was there. All knew who she was, and that's all sort of kind of coming back to you. You all have like the memory starts to creep back into your head of um, you, Nichols. You convinced. Well, actually, hold on. Let me double check. Here's the Nichols and Marty. You convinced her to help you look for someone or something. You don't remember what the gambit was that you were like. You conned her basically into to where you needed to go, and then all hell broke loose. Apparently, that hazy memory is becoming a little more solid. You did this before.
Well, if we're ready, if we have everything prepared, then we should go and rest. Well, you should go and rest. I will just wait.
Where?
In the car.
Just sitting down in the car all night and the whole next day until the evening. Sitting in the car. No book, radio on.
Just dead set stare out the windshield.
Not even people watching, just literally looking out the front windshield. Well, we don't realize it, but he's like, developing the theory of relativity.
There's some real brainstorming happening in there. We assume.
Surprise.
Oh, on Discord I lost one on my end. I'm gonna have to refresh.
Oh,
I'll be
can you
right
guys
back.
hear me?
I
I
can hear.
can.
Okay, I can now. For a while I couldn't. I just can't see you.
Weird.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It happens. Wonderful times with Discord.
you know. As long as I can hear you, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
you're
so
gonna
sun goes
sit
down,
in
sun comes up, passing
Nichols'
time.
car.
He's gonna sit in the car all night. That's fine. He's a super guy.
He'll
And you can
be
go
fine.
without sleep for one night. At the end of the world.
God, it's like a D&D elf. They don't really sleep. They just go into a creepy trance.
Yeah. So sure, next day rolls around. All of you, like everybody's prepped as far as they're going to be prepped. Sounds like you've got some clothes that are going to allow you to fit in. You've got at least the rudiments of a plan in place. You've done recon on the location and kind of gotten a general layout of the place. And keep in mind too, like the information that I provided to you as far as the plan, the layout of the ninth floor, we can always expand upon that as need be when we go. Like everything I described isn't necessarily everything that's there. You could always ask and say, "Hey, was there a this on the floor?"
Yeah.
Okay.
We all have a little bit of narrative control.
Yeah, well, we
Yeah.
can expand on that. It's like, well, because okay, newsflash, everybody. I'm an architect in real life. And quite frankly,
Ooh.
describing everything that's on a hotel room floor of a hotel this big is boring as hell. And we're trying to get to the super powered action. So I gave you the overview, and you might also like suddenly in the midst of everything be like, no, there should be like one of these on the floor too. And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's over here. We can deal with that when it comes up. So, what's the plan? Where are you going? Where do you, till the reception time? Are you going a little early, waiting until well into the reception for things to be underway? And where are you going specifically?
I believe the term is fashionably late.
See, I was gonna say politely early.
No, you want blend in. You want people so you can get lost in a crowd. Trust me. There's no other. I'm not trying to say that there's people looking for us. I'm just saying it's a smart thing to do.
Yes, we
Okay.
are trying to blend in with the crowd. Get lost in a sea of people. An
Meanwhile,
ocean
you're
of
gonna
heads.
stand. Well,
Right.
that's easy for
So,
me.
are you going to the ninth floor then?
I think for now we are going to the ninth floor.
I'll show
Okay.
the elevator man my library card and the invitation.
Jeez. He sees your invitation, all of you, and takes you to the ninth floor. Um, looks much better, much more well rested. Like it looks like he probably got a good long night's sleep. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Takes you up to the ninth floor, lets you out, and it is up bustling. There are all sorts of people here, and all sorts of the finest, including people that are wearing kind of out of the ordinary for your typical 20s attire. There's um, Indian people wearing a more traditional Indian garb. There are East Asian people that are wearing various types of garb. There are even, you see a pair of German people in Lederhosen. Very nice clothing. There's a lot of suits and ties, a lot of flapper dresses. There's clearly a lot of gangsters here. There are, like, those of you who know how to pick that sort of thing out, recognize that there are a relatively small number of people who appear to be packing heat at all. If some of these people just scream gangster or criminal, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of, like it's not like every other person really has a gun on them. But there are people that are, being friendly and talking and having a good time and enjoying a reception. And like very quickly, you discover that the bar area that was the bar on the ninth floor is still a bar. It's full of alcohol. There's people walking around with glasses full of things. There's a lot of cigarettes on cigarette holders and cigar smoke, even a few pipes. The smoke hangs heavy in the air because it has spilled out of the smoking rooms into into the more public areas. There are the people who do appear to be like, perhaps carrying a weapon in a shoulder holster, are out of ordinary in terms of the hustle and bustle and friendliness of the crowd. They are the people who are just kind of quietly keeping an eye on everything. They're not having chit, talking about how lovely the service was, or remarking how they're looking forward to seeing what Georgia is wearing for the reception, for her dress. None of that stuff. They're all business, and they're kind of dotted all over the place. Just a scan of the room, you can pick out a dozen without trying hard. And women, for that matter.
All right.
Now, is the bridal party, including like immediate family, have they all arrived at the reception by this point?
You're able to pick up just from general chatter that they have not yet, but they
Okay,
are expected soon.
got it.
So
They had the service. They went out. You would guess that they went out either for, they perhaps went out for drinks. They may have gone out for kind of business dealings. There may have also, they went out for got photographed in the park or something like that too. In between the ceremony and the reception now. So everybody else is just kind of waiting around as they're finishing up whatever it is they're doing.
in order to better
And there's a lot of booze.
in order to better blend in, I will get myself a whiskey and I will get Marty a gin.
You hand it to me, and just like I think it's like a glass of water, and I take a sip, and I'm immediately just like,
Oh, that tastes like pine tree.
No,
ugh.
thanks. That's mine. Thanks.
I just
Uh,
gave it to you. Like,
yeah. I look around for somebody that looks like they might be part of the local crew. And someone who looks like they aren't just here for the party. Like maybe they're working a bit.
So a guard, thug.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
essentially.
can pick one out. Sure. I mean, they're all kind of similar in that there's not clones or anything. They're not, but they're all just kind of doing their job, keeping an eye on things. They're all very tight-lipped, paying attention to this and that. Every so often, somebody else walks by and they kind of, exchange very quiet words, whisper to each other.
Hey, friend, there was a guy. Maybe you know him. Kind of short, thin hair. Had a pocket watch. I don't know if you've seen him around. But he said that I'd be able to find my wedding gift here, that it was going to be brought here. Do you know who I'm talking about? Do you know the guy? Or did I just get taken in by somebody?
I'm not sure who you're talking about, sir.
Short guy. I think it was, he looked like he might be an Hispanic or something.
I don't know what to tell you. You could take a walk around the ballroom. There's a lot of people here. Be
Okay. Uh,
buried in the crowd somewhere.
what about Jill? Is she around?
Eggs, yeah, she's around. She's busy.
She busy.
Yeah, she's busy.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Enjoy the
I'm
party.
gonna sip my drink and scan the room for our scared man.
Sure, give me a perception plus sense check.
Okay. See, perception. I got 2. All right. I'm flipping 2 cards. Got a 3 of hearts, and I'm not gonna use that because that's okay. 5 of diamonds. That's that's not good either. But like,
There
it's better
sure
than
are
the
a lot of
3.
people here.
It's
There
better than the
sure are
3
a
of hearts.
lot of people.
Let's see. Yeah, that's all the cards I can flip. It's really
Uh,
hard to see
unless
when
you unless you
everybody's
unless you want to
wearing
spend a
like.
moxie and flip another card.
You know what? I'll do that. Someone gave me a moxie. I'll spend it. I got
Okay.
4. Now I got down to 3. That's 3 of diamonds, which is worse than the
Hey!
5 of diamonds.
Oh no, Steven, on the upside, skewing your deck toward the high cards.
Hey, I did
Mhm.
burn a lot of bad right there.
You
It's gonna
burn through
pay
a lot
off.
of low cards. It absolutely will pay off if we manage to get through like another 30 straight checks
Every,
before the game's over. Then you'll probably see that skew coming.
Hey,
everybody's shorter than me, and they're all wearing hats, so it's really hard to see faces.
could I kind of do a pass around? I'm going for specifically like just kind of like chattering ladies and like family folk, and I'm just trying to like I'm passing off. I'm looking for my father. And I describe our scared man. I'm like, he looks just like me, but he's kind of thin. He looks a little depressed. Receding hairline, and I'm trying to like rack my brain for what else he looked like.
Sure. Okay. Well, this is deception, charisma deception,
Uh, I don't have deception.
and I'm gonna give you advantage because you're a
Okay,
lost little kid. And
like a
if there's
cute
anything that
boy.
people want to do is help a lost little kid.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and someone took your gin away.
Oh, advantage. Someone took away your drink. Advantage adds 1 to your card count.
Cool. Okay. So so even without the skill with my 4 charisma, I get 5 cards I can potentially draw from. Correct?
Yes. Do you want to throw any boosts on anything? Are you doing anything funky? Keep in
Um.
mind there might be boosts that aren't necessarily even geared toward your specific thing. Just want people to, if you got something cool to show off, might as well.
Yeah.
You do have 5 cards. I mean, that's pretty solid. You could blow a boost or
Yeah.
2 and
I'll
still have plenty of
stick.
cards to flip.
Yeah, I'll stick with just the cards for now. Okay,
Okay.
let's see how we do. Um, that is a queen of clubs. I'm gonna try that again. Um,
Sure, that's a solid card, but clubs is a complication.
oh gosh. I do love complicated. Um, I want to push my luck. I haven't done that yet. Oh,
Favorite card in
okay.
the deck. Favorite card in the deck, by the way, is an ace of clubs because an ace is going to always be successful. An ace is always a boon, and it's clubs, so it's a complication too.
I do like the sound of that. Okay, I have a queen of spades,
Ooh, that's a
so
boon.
I think I'm gonna stick with the queen of spades.
Sure. You start reeling off your sob story to some people, and very quickly have a small crowd gathered around you as you're talking about. Do you have a hitch in your breath at all? Are you
I'm just kind of
are you
like,
verge of
I,
tears? Anything?
I, I can't find him. I had him earlier. He's my only father. I'm never. I
Oh
only
God, that's
got the
adorable.
one, and I just
And
verge of tears, trying not to bawl.
and they say, and they're all very sympathetic. And a couple of people say that oh, we saw him. He was around here a while back. And a woman says, kind of this older, frumpy, middle-aged woman. She's trying desperately to wear a flapper dress, but it's just not hanging on her
God.
right. But her hair and her jewelry are spectacular. And she says, "Well, I do believe I saw this this fellow. Come along with me, young man. I can show you right where I saw him." And she
Okay, and
leads you the
I hold
general
her
direction
hand.
of the East Wing.
Mm.
And in the
Just like,
background,
Leads you out of the ballroom and into the corridor, and kind of starts heading over toward the East
as
Wing.
as she's leading me out, I'm just kind of calling out kind of loudly so the rest of you can hear. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, quite kind madam. And might I say that dress is very stunning on you." And I just hold
Papa,
her hand.
Papa, where are you, Papa?
Oh, balding father, soon we will be reunited.
you can see in the background, in order to better blend in, Arthur's doing that thing where you lift somebody up on a chair, but he's just picked up a random person sitting down.
Somebody's
she
grandma.
she takes you out around, and any of you, the others, do the others of you follow?
So I would like to do not necessarily following, but something else to kind of tag along. But I also need a little bit of clarification on one of my powers. All right, um, the puppeteer power. I mentioned before that I had unconventional weapons on me, and they're going to be the numerous talismans up my sleeves, right?
Okay.
And so if I were to send one of my puppet talismans, would it be able to kind of tag along, kind of like in Marty's belt, and be like unnoticed or anything?
And you could puppeteer it over
Mm.
there surreptitiously, sure.
Hmm.
Then just kind of
And
it just lot into Marty's belt, and then Marty will just carry it with him.
yeah, and would now I'm kind of curious. Would it also have senses? Would it be able to kind of alert me if there were trouble in Marty's location?
No, this is just kind of straight up telekinesis.
Got it. All right, so it won't actually
Not
let me keep an eye on
well.
him.
Um, yeah, you're not giving the object a semblance of life. You're just moving it.
Got it. All right then. In that case, I can't think of any clever way to follow along just yet, other than just doing so. So I'll let Nichols tag along.
Okay.
Go-
Um.
I'm going to attempt to cause a scene so that any of my cohorts can slip away unnoticed. By
you-
cause a scene, I'm mostly just being boisterous and loud, which is normal for my character, but he's exaggerating it.
Are you doing like a
you
routine?
yeah. What do you? Okay. Well, you're being the loud drunk, like just
Not
big and
more just like have you ever been to a party and there's just someone being very boastful?
okay. Sure.
It's more that. It's like more just like, "Ha ha, I'm great. Everyone
A
look
bit of
at
an
me."
attention hog.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a corrupt charisma,
Okay.
diplomacy, or deception. Whatever
That
feels
is
appropriate to what you're doing, just to
yeah,
kind of
that's
draw a crowd.
6 of clubs. I'm gonna
All
put
those
that
low
away
cards.
to draw the 4 of clubs.
Oh
I'm
boy.
gonna I'm gonna spend another moxie
Think about how
to
many
not
kings
use
and queens you've got left in that
either
deck.
of those. All right, this is a 9 of diamonds. That's not that's not so bad. That's probably like okay.
You
You
probably
said
get some
that
attention with
9.
that.
Um,
You
with
said
with with the
9 is
9
like
with
fine.
the 9 you get it's really loud in here. With a 9 you get a few people to kind of pay attention to you, like that are right near you, but it's not like you turn the heads of most of the crowd. So you've got some people kind of not paying attention to anything else that's going on. Marty gets led away. It sounds like Nichols goes along.
I'm gonna try to as
Um,
far as I can.
there's a lot of people walking around out in the corridors and everything. Like keep in mind, nobody's gone in and seated themselves yet. Everybody's walking around schmoozing and boozing. So it's easy enough to kind of just fall into the crowd of the people that are going back and forth between the ballroom and the restrooms and the smoking room, smoking lounge, and all that sort of stuff. And you make your way down, Marty, with this lady, and she takes you to the east wing, to these 3 goons that are kind of standing guard at the entrance to the east wing, and
Oh
she
no.
says, "This little boy is looking for his father, and I saw him go down here earlier. Oh, could you go get him, please, or let the little boy go down and be reunited with his father? He's very scared." And then she looks to you as if to prompt you for a performance.
Put a hand to my head, and I just go, ah! I just like let out a huge wail. And in the back of my mind, I'm hoping like, I really hope these goons don't recognize me as a little messenger.
Oh,
She
Arthur has
says,
another moxie point from chat.
Cool.
goons are not letting you walk past and say, but one of them says, "What are we looking for? What's this fella's name?"
We don't know that, do we?
His name is Dad.
How about this? Anybody who wants to remember that person's name from your memory of having met this and seen this whole thing before can spend a moxie to remember that right now.
Absolutely. Immediately. I will spend that moxie to know this man's name. My father.
His name is Dr. Jorge Rivero.
Holy-
He is a scientist. He's an inventor, tinkerer.
Okay, Jorge
And
Romero.
with that revelation and you all sort of being tied together in these strange circumstances that you recognize, that you ran into before, I want you to open the PDF that I sent to all of you. You will see that there is a power described on there. It is the power that is not in the core Capers book I gave to you, that you've been using to create your characters. Is a power from a different book. Each of you is listed as having a boost next to your character's name. You do
Uh-huh.
not have access to that power, but you can use the boost next to your character's name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I had a feeling something like
Um,
this was happening.
And
ooh.
I'll reveal this much to the viewers so that they're not completely, because they won't know what the boosts necessarily do. But the power they're looking at is a power called Time Control. It is from one of the Capers supplements. It allows the superpowered gangster to manipulate time in some ways.
Hmm.
So they don't have access to the actual proper power, but there are a bunch of time-oriented boosts that you might find a use for.
I like that. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh.
Keeping in mind that as a boost, you have to decide to use them before you whatever it is you're doing that turn, so that if there's a trait check involved, you make the adjustment to your card count. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
making trait checks, if you're just like walking along, you could use there's boosts that you could just use if you're not doing anything other than like these minor powers. Okay, so you know the fellow's name. The goon has said, "What's this fellow's name? I can go get him for you." Got
Well,
orders.
uh, Some people may call him Dr. Jorge Romero, but I call him Father. And I just let like a single tear run down my cheek.
Did you mispronounce Romero on purpose, or did you not hear Rivero with a V?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you
I want to
said
be. I want to be
Romero.
sure. Nope, so
No,
Rivero,
I'm
Hispanic name.
Rovero.
Sure. Okay. Just wanted to make sure you did, because it's perfectly reasonable for somebody to mispronounce a name too. Maybe you had some sort of ruse you were attempting. With that mention, all three of them look at you sideways, and they all three reach inside of their jackets to where they are clearly wearing pistols. One of them reaches out to grab you by the scruff, by the collar of your shirt.
Aw, nuts.
Nuts.
Do I see
Um,
this?
Yeah, anybody who has followed along here sees this. Anybody
Does
who
my
followed Marty.
does my teammate in danger sense start to tingle?
You didn't really do much as far as gathering a crowd, so like if you want to bust on out of there, you're welcome to do that at any time. I'm not going to get all cranky about meta knowledge. I want people to be involved in the story. I want all of you to be as involved in the story as you want to be. That means getting to where things are going down with Marty, then that's what you do.
All right, yeah. I will be also near the hallway.
You
as
come
he
around
Nice.
just in time to see Marty getting snatched, basically. Looks like this guy's about to drag Marty away.
as he kind of picks me up, I look at the nice lady that tried to help out and it's like, don't worry, this is normal. Thank you for your service.
She looks horrified.
I reach into my pocket and I pull out a slightly crumpled up Sunday newspaper for your troubles.
She takes it without understanding why she's doing. She steps back. One of the goons draws the pistol out far enough that she sees it. She just turns tail and just as fast as her legs can take her, she's getting the hell out of Dodge.
How far away are the goons?
Right there. Cinematically, they're for you to go and do what you want to do. Not going to get
Okay.
too hard down into how many feet away people are and your speed and all that.
I want to use my jump boost ability to jump 30 feet as part of my movement. And essentially
Launch
just
yourself over there.
yeah, while he's got his, I can clearly see this is happening, so I'll have my brass knuckle on and just blah, and then go to punch him in the head.
Okay. Rather than slow things down, and because we're starting to get closer and closer to the end of everything here, we'll just kind of go around the table based on what I've got, your arrangement in front of me, for simplicity's sake. Sure, go ahead. Let's give me a strength. Brass knuckles counts as unarmed, so strength unarmed check.
All right, that's fisticuffs, right?
Sorry, fisticuffs. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
I forgot. There's fisticuffs instead of unarmed, and there's conveyances instead of vehicles in the 1920s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, strength fisticuffs.
So I've got 6 cards with that, but because I'm using my jump boost, that means I can only do 5, right?
You're using your jump boost. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 3 of spades. I'm not going to use that card.
Wow, you shuffled something.
7 of hearts. Yeah, I'm not using that either. Let's see. Number 3. Okay, ace of diamonds. That's pretty good.
Go. That's a boon.
That's
Aces
great,
are always a
yeah.
boon.
There it
There
is.
are boon. There it is. There he is. Beautiful.
Okay, so for damage, this is the way it works. Your normal damage is broken out. Your weapons are either color damage or suit damage. So it's based on what the color of the suit of the card is.
And
Suit,
normally,
color
damage.
Right. We'll get to that in just a moment.
Yeah,
Real quick explanation for everybody.
yeah.
Color damage is normally gotta remind myself. Okay, right. Red is 1 damage, black is 2, and then with suit damage, it's in the order of the suits from diamond or from clubs up to spades. So 1, 2, 3, 4 clubs through spades. And then some weapons are like color +1 or suit +1, suit +2, that sort of thing. You just add on top of that. Now you're using brass knuckles, which are normally only what color +1 damage.
Yep.
But because you have super strength, you get to use the better of color +1 or suit damage. You basically ramp up to having like a deadly weapon. Basically, color damage is kind of like minor weapons, and suit damage and suit +1, suit +2. Those are where you get into like your deadly weapons.
Yeah. So because I had a diamond, it would be 2 damage +1, so 3.
So 3 damage, and you did it was ace, so you did a boon, and you can turn that into 2 more damage if you want to.
Oh, can I like take the boon? Because there's 3 goons here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I knock this goon into another goon and deal like 1 damage to the second goon?
You can. I'll do this to be nice to you because everybody's kind of getting new to the system. In the game, there are capers and capers, exceptionals, and regulars. Capers are people with powers. Exceptionals are people that are kind of extra cool and wonderful, but they don't have powers. They're just really good. And then there are regulars, which are like your goons and schlubs. And these guys are goons, and regulars don't have a lot of hits. So the difference between 3 and 5 hits might be the difference between knocking this guy out and not.
Or well,
If you want to pass it, I will say yes. I will let you push him and put 1 hit into the other guy. But 3 may not knock him. 3 may not knock him out.
okay, with the boon, this might be asking too much. Can I do the 3 damage to the guy I punched, knock him into the guy holding Marty, making him drop Marty, and then dealing 1 damage to
Absolutely.
him?
You can deal 1 damage. You can deal 1 damage, or you can make him let go of Marty.
I'll make him let go of Marty.
Okay, so 3 to Goon 1, and Goon 2 lets go of Marty. Marty, your turn. You've been let go of.
Okay. I'm going to let's see. Can I use my influence emotions power to inflict a sense of fear on the goon that just dropped me? Um, maybe to influence him to run away or something. Okay.
What's your activation? Yeah, in the
So,
game, typically there's no like mind control stuff. There's ways to influence people. So you can influence with a particular emotion, and then I will make a reaction based on the
okay.
situation of the character.
Okay.
That's
Activation.
one thing I didn't do in the game because mind control is a real screw you over kind of
Yes.
power. um, so
Let's see. Activation is gonna
no magnetics and no mind control. No Magneto, no Professor X.
I think that's
Supers
fair.
in this game, the supers in this game aren't that powerful.
Um,
Yeah, influence emotions can often get some pretty good effect. So yeah, so what's your activation? It's like a charisma check.
it's gonna be charisma slash willpower versus target's mind. So would I pick the higher of those two, or do those two combine?
Or is a skill. So if you have the willpower skill, you add 1 to your charisma.
Oh, okay. I do not have willpower. So it'll just be straight charisma, which is 4. Let's see. So do I need to draw for that, or is it just a straight number check?
So it's a trait check versus the goon's mind score.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So I guess it would just.
For the record, with everybody, mind trait or body and mind start at 8 and go up. Is always you always
Oh.
need at least an 8.
Oh, okay. So I only have 4 in charisma, so that's probably not gonna work because I do not have
No, you get
willpower.
4 cards. You need to flip 4 cards and get an 8 or better.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard. I thought it was just straight numbers. Okay. Then I will draw the cards and find out. Um, okay. That is a jack of the spades. I had to remind myself really fast.
Spades is a
Um,
boon. Jack's
spades
not
is
too
a
bad.
boon.
Sticking with that or gonna flip more? You
I
got 3 more cards. The bad joker's in there somewhere. We haven't seen it yet.
I would actually love to pull the bad Joker. That sounds like fun. Um, I think I feel like that ought to do it. I'm gonna try to play it safe and go with the Jack of Spades.
Okay, and you instill fear.
Yes.
Boon number 2 flips out, starts running.
Woohoo!
With the boon, um, he is stupid enough to shout, "Get the doctor out of here!" As he's running away in fear. Long, your turn.
Let's see. Can I see the doctor down the hallway?
You don't see him at this moment, no, but you hear, yeah, the one goon is shouting for somebody out there to get the doctor out of here.
All right. Can I?
Effectively confirming that he is around somewhere.
Sure. So let me go ahead and I would like to dimension step
Yes, you
with range to go bypass them completely.
Okay.
And so I am
How far are you going? How far are you going?
as far as I can. I believe the range boost increases it to 60 feet instead of 30.
Okay, so you can get, basically
No.
just
Actually, hold on. It actually increases to 100 feet.
100 feet. You can get down to where the where the corridor jogs.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, so whoop, whoop, that's part of basically you use your movement to do that.
Mhm. Yep.
You
And
still have an action.
yep. And so I would like to just kind of.
Quick note for the record: you can turn your action into more movement if you want to.
I don't think I need to do that right now because I don't see him. But is there anything like a ready action where I can prepare for engaging the doctor if I see him?
Sure.
Sure.
Essentially, yeah, prepare an action. You basically decide you say you're going to. What do you? Because you started to use some of your turn, you can delay your whole turn, or you can ready something. So you've used movement, so you can't delay your whole turn. You have to ready. So you could
Sure.
use your action to do what when you see the doctor.
And so I would like to um, let's see here. One, I would like to free action to initiate my force field with the mobile boost, so that way it can follow along with me.
Sure.
And I would just want to walk up as many feet as I can to get up to the doctor and grab hold of him.
Okay, so if you see the doctor, you'll try to get to him.
Hmm.
Okay. Nichols. No doctor so far.
All right, so for me,
Nichols.
yeah, I'm going to say that we definitely need a distraction now. Things are getting out of hand. And so I will go ahead and create the wall behind the guards is going to start to catch fire, and
Jeez.
fire is going to spread out from that, and it's going to be an auditory and visual illusion. Uh, and I'll just stand there and maintain concentration a little bit, and use my power to set up this thing.
Where's the fire in relative to the goons in the hallway? Just so I'm clear.
It's gonna be on the wall behind them. It's gonna
So
start.
a little ways down a little ways down the corridor,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
close enough to be concerning.
It's close enough to be concerning, and at the same time, close enough to and large enough, hopefully, that the crowd will see it and maybe they'll react too.
Okay, so top of the order here, reactions of everybody else. Yeah, there's a fire. People start freaking out. The people who aren't close enough, most of the people who are seeing this aren't close enough to actually feel the non-existent heat because there is no heat. But they're like they see and hear the crackling of a fire, and panic. Because yes, there are tough guys and mobsters and goons here, but a lot of these people are just scared, running from a fire now. However, they're running away from the fire, so they're not running over all of you. The goons are, let's see, one goon's running away. He's already run past where the fire is, so that doesn't really, he doesn't see anything or react to it. The other two see it. And I'm going to do a reaction check. A reaction check for them is like, it's a 1-card thing. And I add their score rather than flipping multiple cards because they're just quickly reacting to something. That's an 8, going to be a 10. That's a 10, going to be a queen. One of them, we're going to say Goon 3, sticks. Goon 1, who is the one who is hurt, runs, like he gets out of the corridor away from the fire. He's panicking with the rest of everybody else because he's also hurt. But Goon 3 is holding his ground. And he's gonna pummel. He's gonna pull out his pistol and shoot Arthur point blank in the head. That's advantage, point blank. It's gonna be against your body score, and I don't know what your body score is, so I don't. I'm gonna flip cards. Don't tell me. I'm gonna flip cards like you do, where I don't know, and I'm gonna pick my card that I'm gonna stick on.
Yeah, and
that's a 10. That's 10 of hearts.
I think I wrote it down wrong, so let me find it in the book.
It's going to be, well, what's your agility score?
My agility score is 2.
Your body's going to be 9 unless you have body armor or some other power that raises your body score. I don't believe you do.
And I did write it down wrong. I wrote down the 2 instead of the thing it should actually be.
The numbers, they translate. Remember how 8 is the baseline? If you have a 1 in something, your defense for that trait is an 8. If you have a 2, it's a 9. If you have a 3, it's a 10, and it continues up like that. And you can get up to Jack and Queen with super traits, super strength, super agility, all that stuff. And you can get even higher than that if you have like body armor, power, or there's a like a mind shield power. I mean, if you really put your money, put your points into it, you could conceivably have a body or mind that was like king or ace. Like untouchable in that realm, but it would take a lot of your points, a lot of your capability. Flipped a 10 of hearts. With the pistol is going to be 4 damage if a 10 hits you.
That hits.
Okay, you take 4 hits.
Down to 10 hit points.
You can spend a moxie to reduce some of that. You flip a card. If you flip a red card, you reduce. You don't take 2 of the points. If you flip a black card, you don't take 4 of the points.
You know what? I'll do that. I'll spend a moxie. Let me bump that number down. It's a red card.
So you only take 2.
So I only take 2.
And that's it for the goon. So
I do the really cool like anime head lean to the side, and it like grazes instead of splats my brain.
It's Arthur's turn.
All right, I'm going to grab.
Splats my brain.
I'm gonna grab this dude's wrist. I'm gonna get wrist control.
Okay.
And like twist to disarm him.
Okay. Using brute strength or using like his own momentum and everything against him?
Brute strength. I'm like
strength fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Strength fisticuffs. You can if you succeed, you'll hit him. If you gain a boon, you'll be able to add an effect like disarm him or break his arm or.
Okay. That will give me, since I'm not using my weapon, I don't get a plus, but I get 5 cards still, so it's good. All right, so that's 8 of hearts. I'm gonna put that aside since I got so many more. That's 4 of hearts. That's not better. So I'm gonna keep going. Oh, that's the ace of clubs.
There you go.
My favorite card.
That's a complication and a boon.
A success with a boon and a complication. My favorite card.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do that. Let's do it.
Okay, so you grab with the ace, with the boon. You can you wanted to disarm him basically.
Yeah.
To drop the gun. And complication. Jill Darby comes rolling in. Faster than you've ever seen somebody run in your entire life. Her nickname is Legs. She is a speedster.
Jeez, I
Oh,
thought it was for some other reason.
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, so like I'll look over and go, huh, so that's why. While still crushing this goon's wrist.
Because
It's
wrist
his
control
feather
is important.
bones.
It's the most important.
You get wrist control.
You get risk and then you pull out your gun.
Then you pull out your gun. I just want us all, like, as
She
she
comes
runs by, to collectively go,
she comes
"Oh."
running she comes running in.
In heels?
She is what? In heels, yes, absolutely in heels.
Amazing.
She runs up to you faster than you can believe. She takes a pot shot at you. As she goes by, a trail of crackling electricity trails behind her, flash style. So you take 2 points of 2 points of damage from the electricity alone, and she also tries to punch you as she goes by, and that's a King of Hearts with a punch color. Going to be 1. She's going to punch you for 1, and she's now passed you down the hall, and she doesn't seem to be caring too much about the fire. And she's drawing a gun.
All right, so that's 3 damage. You know what? I'll bump myself down to 1 moxie, and I'll do that.
3 total.
Yeah, I'll do the thing where I flip to reduce damage again. That's a 9. That's a black card. That reduces that by 4 damage, right?
This is by 4, so you take nothing.
Yeah. So I do that thing. The only good thing to come out of Justice League, where she like runs by and I like move and meet eyes with her, like Superman and the Flash.
You actually can track her as she goes by.
Yeah.
Instead of her
'Cause
just being past
he
you.
practices staring very intently for hours on end.
Then it's Marty's turn. Jill
Okay.
is no, Jill, let's back that up. She produces a gun. She produces a Tommy gun from nowhere. Wearing a flapper
Jeez.
dress and heels. She reaches behind her and comes out with a Tommy gun.
Got it from Toon Space.
That's a pocket dimension.
As she pulls out her toonish Tommy gun, I just throw up my hands and I go,
John's looking at me like, what? I'm like, well, the bad guys have superpowers too.
Yeah, but my
Uh,
character's
I'm
just
sorry.
like, okay, wow, that just happened.
Okay, so you hands up, Marty.
I
Tommy
put up
gun
my
leveled at you.
hands and I just try to diffuse the situation and I just go, I think we can help each other. Also, I'm a child. And I'm like slowly inching behind something.
Okay, so are we looking at a charisma based check to try to get her to not after you as a target to
I
convince
think
her you are helpless and childlike?
I think my primary goal is just to get her to calm down enough to lower the Tommy gun, because I don't know if I'm assuming from this she's directing that at us, or at least some
Yes.
of us.
Okay, so you're trying to talk her down to get her to keep her from unloading a Tommy gun on all of you.
Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, that's like charisma, diplomacy, but at disadvantage.
Oof.
Because she's going to be tough to convince of this because there's a fire and like the goons are running and one's hurt and she's a tough sell.
Okay. So I guess disadvantage would be a -1, correct?
In this one card. Yep.
Okay. So 4 for me. Here we go. Oh, okay. It's not a great start, but that is a 3 of clubs.
That's not good.
We'll pass that one up. Uh, King of clubs.
Complication, but and you've got Moxie. You can always come back to it if you really bone the rest of your flips.
I yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, let's keep going. King of Diamonds. I like that. Why don't we go King of Diamonds. Diamonds is second worst, right?
No, it's second worst, but heart basically clubs always has an effect and spades always has an effect. Clubs
Oh,
has a
I
bad
see.
effect, spades has a good effect. Hearts and diamonds are more or less interchangeable, except when it comes to damage. Like
Okay.
it's just a success. It's not a success with a complication. It's not a success with a boon.
Okay. Then let's go with the King of
Boons are
Diamonds
fine.
as I like with my hands in the air and I just kind of like force one more little single tear out and I'm like, oh, I'm running on empty tonight. I've been crying too
Um,
much.
right, you get her to kind of rethink things. She kind of stops and she's not sure what's going to happen next. And it's Yulong's turn. She doesn't unload the gun right away.
All right, and so no sign of Alejandro yet, right?
We'll
No,
Jorge?
Jorge.
Jorge
Jorge. I'm getting my
Rivero.
games mixed up.
No. Hold on. That's okay. Down the corridor, before, like right near where you are, like right before the corridor does the little bump around.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of one of the rooms is a goon with a skinny little doctor with his hairline receding. He looks terrified. I've seen him
My
before.
father.
And
Pop,
he has a
pop.
goon with him, huh?
A goon with a gun.
Goon of a gun.
A gun goon.
I mean, I can only have one shield at a time, so either I keep myself shielded or I shield small child.
Oh, this is the Sophie's choice.
There is a gun on the floor. Can one of your paper boys wield a gun?
The little guy is just like,
I hmm. But I only get one action, so let's see.
Hold on. You don't only get one action. You can
Oh,
spend two moxie to take a second action on your turn after your first
oh.
action.
Mm.
Also, if you get the good Joker, since we haven't seen it pop up, I'll mention this. If you get the good Joker, it is a success with a boon, and you get another action. That's what the good Joker
Uh-huh.
does for you.
Ooh. I hope
All
I
right
get the
then.
good Joker at some point.
In that case, let me go ahead and let loose one of my puppets to race down the hallway to try and grab the gun, right? And to start assisting in, all of that right down there,
Okay.
right? Do I need to make any tests for that? I don't think I do.
What's the activation for Puppeteer? Power check, I believe.
All right, power
Activation, right?
check. Yeah.
Yep.
And so
You make a check. You flipping cards equal to the power, the rank of the
uh
power.
okay, to the rank of the power. So since it's only rank 1, I only get one card draw.
You get another one if you spend a moxie. You can just flip one card and see what happens.
One card. We'll just do the one card for now. And so, king. All right.
Yeah, you send. You're able to puppeteer and pick up the gun that was dropped back down the corridor. Do you have a range increase from that?
I do have the range boost from it, but
Okay, so let's assume that the boost was being used because you got to go all the because you went way down the corridor, so you got to.
yes.
Normal ranges for a lot of these powers are 30 feet, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes a range boost to get to 100.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
so,
so you use that. You use your action to do that. You pick up the guns. Now there's a gun that's like hovering like right in front of Chill and Marty.
yep.
Nichols.
There's a little paper puppet that is wielding a gun on the floor.
Wonderful.
Um,
And you can spend 2 moxie and grab another action if you want to then be able to do something else.
and I will go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and spend the 2 moxie to get the extra action. And also, one other thing that I thought about and I'm willing to spend the moxie to kind of make this narrative thing happen. Um, uh, can I have it so that one of my fancy attire accoutrements is a silk fan that's actually a steel fan, which will have like maybe the stats of like a
Mm.
club.
Sure, do all that.
All right
One
then,
moxie.
one moxie. So
Good.
I am at zero
Out comes the
moxie now,
out comes the steel fan.
and I will go ahead and now engage Jorge and whoever goon he is. So
And
I'll
four.
move and then I guess make an attack against him.
Sure. This is going to be steel fan. I suppose melee. Yes.
Yep.
Um,
And so that's going to be strength or
strength melee.
agility or all right.
Not throwing it. So strength
Yeah, and
melee.
so strength is going to be 2 melee. I have a skill, so 3 cards. All right. Um, and I didn't activate any of my boosts for. Wait, no, I did activate a boost for
Use
that.
your range boost.
So that's 1 card less, right?
You're down 1. Yep.
All right, so
For
2
your action.
cards. 2 cards. All right. First card. It's a 10 of spades. Oh shoot! I forgot to use my time power. All right, that's fine. I'll do that next time. I could.
I'm so glad you said that. I forgot I had a time power.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it's rough. You're new to the game, so it's hard enough
right.
to keep track of the regular powers.
Right. No. I'll go ahead and accept the complication that comes along with this 10 of clubs.
Okay. So that's going to be one. It's doing what, suit damage because it's a club.
Oh, it is
Seems like
suit
a club,
damage.
the fan does.
Oh shoot! Yeah. Uh.
That would only do 1 damage, and
Yeah.
you'd take a complication.
Then can I backtrack then and then I get my second draw? Because
So you can flip
yeah,
a second card. Yeah, that's not a
second,
great card.
yeah, heart. All right, and I believe that is 3.
But it's a 6, so it misses.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dang it. All right, that's fine. That's fine.
I think that's you, Nichols.
All right. So we can't see what's happening with Yulong right now, correct?
You can, right down there, right before the little. He's not quite around the spot where the corridor bumps. He's visible. You can see him. Yep.
All right. I am going to go ahead and let's do. So my illusion power creates a visual auditory illusion that fits within a 10-foot cube, and I'm gonna use the boost for physicality, and go ahead and surround Jill Darby in a steel cage.
Just manifest a steel cage. Okay, whoop! There's a steel cage around Jill. Are you going to do? That's your. That's for illusion. That's your action. Yes.
Yes. It's a trade action
Activation
for
action.
illusion, so I'm just standing there and doing this.
Okay. Well, you can move. You've got movement.
Oh, then I'll go ahead and move, and
down the corridor.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Anything else up your sleeve?
Not for right now. I think that's gonna be it.
All right. She's gonna unload on you with the Tommy gun. It's a jack of clubs. No. 8 of diamonds. No. 9 of diamonds. No. One more. Oh, 3 of clubs sucks. I'm going to Moxie back to the jack of clubs. Which is going to do 3 to you with the Tommy gun. And that's clubs. So a complication for her. Gun jams. Arthur. Other goon. Let's see. He's, you basically got him under control. Goon 3, he's without a gun. He's kind of at your mercy. Goon 4 is with the doctor. He's trying to drag the doctor down the corridor toward the far end, toward the stair tower at the end of the wing. But unlike anything you've seen with the doctor before, the doctor is fiercely struggling against this. Like his cowering, quivering, worried face has gone away, and he's like, "No, no!"
I must rescue my father.
Oh, and he's no, and he reaches into his pocket as he's trying to do this, and he pulls out his pocket watch, and he drops it. Arthur.
Okay. I'm going to goon still in hand. Basically, like grab him by the collar and run with him
Sure,
down
just
the
drag him
hall,
down there.
and
With
then
your strength of 5, you can just drag him. That you don't even have to. You don't even have to try hard.
I cast magic missile and I
Oh
hurl the
no.
goon at at
Love it.
I hurl goon 3 at goon 4 in order to make the mythical goon 7.
Okay.
Donk.
You're gonna run. You're gonna make up enough of the distance. I'm gonna give you disadvantage to loot. To bolt and also have a big throw at the end where you're throwing a person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'll make that be a strength. Strength. Fisticuffs, I guess. Well, no, it's a
Fisticuffs
throw.
also works.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to do it with strength. You can't. This isn't an agility thing. It's
Yeah.
not a finesse thing. You're like brutally throwing a person down the corridor.
No, but
So yeah,
I was
strength
thinking.
fisticuffs, but with -1 for disadvantage because
All right, that's still
all
5
of this.
cards.
It's yeah.
Hooray! So that's a 6 of diamonds. I'm throwing that away.
Jeez.
It's a 10 of diamonds. That's okay, but like I have 1 moxie point, so like I can come back to
There
that.
you go.
Do it. Do it.
I got the Jack of Hearts. I like that, but like I said, I got 1 moxie. I can come back to it. So that's 3. That's 3 I've drawn so far. Ace of Hearts. I'm gonna keep that. I'm keeping that one.
It comes with a boon. All right, you can throw him. If you want with that boon, you'll knock the goon out with the hit and the boon if that's what you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, goon knocked out. That is to say the goon that was holding the doctor. The goon that you threw, who is gunless, is now knocked on the ground and like a little shaken. No, he just got tossed like 15 feet by a strong man. Unless you have something else to do, it's Marty's turn.
It's Marty's turn.
Okay. I look at Nichols. I said, Nichols, you goofed. And I'm gonna run past and I'm gonna go for the doctor. And I mean, I guess I don't have to run very far. I'd like to use soothing boost because he's kind of like all hyped up right now. On the doctor, which immediately calm target within range, removing the effects of an overactive emotion. So just to get him to calm down.
Sure.
So let me see. So that'll be yeah, charisma slash willpower versus target's mind. Um so it'll be charisma for me, plus because I'm using the boost or focusing on the boost, I'll take 1 card away, correct? I'm learning. Okay, let's give it a go. Um 6 of diamonds, probably not. Um 5 of diamonds. Uh 8 of clubs. Mm, that's the heart of the cards. 3 3 of clubs.
Got a
Um,
moxie?
I do. So I
And
can
flip
draw
one more
another card,
card.
correct? Let's see. Okay.
In a
Ace of
regular game, I might
diamonds.
have been. There you go. I might have been awarding Moxie and everything to you, but we've gotten so caught up in all of this, and you're getting Moxie from the viewers and everything. I decided to make you, work for the work with the resources you had for this game.
Oh,
But
that's
Ace of
fine.
Diamonds, Ace is always a boon. So yeah, you bring him down a notch, no problem. You've got him completely on um, under control, and you notice with the boon too, you see his pocket watch is on the floor. It's the front is flipped open, and it is broken. Like it is like the glass cover and is cracked, and like all the little fine little pieces inside are all bent up, and doesn't look like damage that would have happened to just falling on the floor.
Oh no. Okay.
Looks
Um,
like, that's what you do to a watch when you smashing it with a boot heel or something.
oh, okay. So seeing that, I guess once I've kind of closed distance on him, just to it calmed it down, I'm just gonna kinda just for giggles throw him through a little bit of a loop and just go, "Father?" And I'll cut my turn at that.
Just looks at you. Um,
Just a little rascal.
it's your turn. The goon that got thrown down there is just trying to crawl away. Like he is out. Like I don't have time for getting thrown around again by these people. He's just trying to crawl further down the corridor and get away from everybody. So you effectively, the two of you, actually, I guess all three of you are more or less down there with the doctor.
Okay.
Correct? I think Nichols is the only one who's like just a little
Yeah.
ways down the corridor. Still close enough to get really shot at.
Good thing that
Um,
got
It's your turn.
jammed.
so, let's see here. Well, let's go ahead and first grab hold of the doctor, and you said he dropped his pocket watch onto the floor. Then let's go ahead and grab that too, and then I just want to ask the group, all right, what now? We got the guy. Do we leave? What do we do from here? I didn't think this far ahead.
You have
I
to make
didn't think
sure
we'd
that
get this far.
we're here to find a device that we have to confirm what the device was.
Yes, that's right. What is it? And I start shaking him around.
Doctor says, it's not the watch, it's me.
What?
He's
It's
a
me.
device?
I do those things.
Oh, then
It
we,
occurs to you that
we
he's
got
got
a
a
good job.
talisman. Got a talisman.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
What kind of talisman? Like
A
gem?
thing that he uses to make his powers go, but it's just it's a show. It's aesthetics. Pure puppets.
Huh.
Picks up the watch. Seems completely unconcerned that it's broken.
Uh-huh. All right.
From for information to viewers as well, and just to clarify for all of you, like basically the powers are described as far as like what they do. There's not a lot of description about like how they do it. What does a
mhm.
speedster really look like? What does a flame bolt really look like? How do you puppeteer something? Like what do you make puppet sound, puppet, mime? Do you like, hold your fingers to your forehead and concentrate it into moving? Like all of that aesthetic stuff is up to you how you want to. So
Mhm.
like Yulong, your puppets, your little paper puppets that pick up objects that are far too heavy for them to pick up, because really you're
Mhm.
telekinesising them. They're effectively talismans. They're like
Sure.
how you use your power.
Yeah.
And his watch is how he uses his power.
Mhm.
He's telling you like it's me, it's not the watch.
Yeah. Um in that case, not kn- not knowing what else to do, let's go ahead and can I try and knock him unconscious and we'll figure it out after we get out of here or into a
He
safe
wants
space.
he wants desperately to go with you.
Oh, all right then. If he's not
Purposes
resisting,
of is effectively an ally.
And we
all right
still
then.
Says
knock him unconscious.
it's like, "Oh, we have to go, we have to go." And it occurs to you that like he was, when you were there, it floods back into your memory a little bit, like that first confrontation with Jill and the thugs, and when you saw him, he was trying to help you. He was trying to
Mhm.
get out of there, and everything went horribly wrong. And then everything reset for you. Whatever happened, happened. But he, like, you have this vague memory that becomes more clear now that you're spending time with him and hearing him speak. You smell his cologne. You kind of, everything comes back, and you're like, this guy wants out. knew
All
that,
right.
but it wasn't clear in your mind until just this moment.
All right then. If I look down the hallway, is combat still happening? Nichols was he still engaged with somebody?
Jill's
Jill's
still
down there with a Tommy gun, but she's in a cage, so if you get far enough
And it's
away from
jammed
her, you're
now.
probably okay.
Yeah.
The gun's
Better
All
jammed.
right,
but
She
you
looks.
do
She's trying to clear a gun jam right now. She's trying to clear the
got it. In that
magazine.
case, um,
you do have a
I
pistol trained on her.
I want to yell down to Marty. Marty, take the pistol, and I want to ask Jorge, do you want to leave this hotel?
Yes, please.
All right then. Then let's go ahead. And I would want to yell down the hallway, meet me downstairs, and I will use Dimension Step with Chaperone to go down as many floors as I can.
Yeah, you can get down 2 floors easily enough.
I believe I also have the range boost for. Yes, I do.
You get down a bunch of floors because what we're gonna do is effectively the goons are out of the picture. Jill is clearing a gun, and if everybody just runs around a corner, he's going to spend time figuring out that the cage isn't real. Like you've all got the ability to escape. So describe to me just getting out of for each of you individually, like getting out of the building. Like if you just leave now, like you've got a couple steps on everybody. So there's a gigantic fire panic that's going on elsewhere on the floor. So if ever you needed a distraction from as far as trying to slip out, you got one.
Think, I
Just to
look
say
at Arthur.
we're dumping out of combat
Yeah.
rounds, and you can kind of just narratively describe.
Yeah.
I think I look at Arthur, and then I look at the window, and then I just like immediately like, do you want to go through the window?
Yeah, hell yeah, I do. That was going to be my plan.
I had a feeling.
You
I
want
had
to
a
hop on my
feeling.
back?
Yes, please, because these legs, these knees are not good for long distance falls, let me tell you. And I just kind of like hop on his back, and I'm like, Nichols, you want on?
Room for one
Nah,
more.
why not? Let's just go.
Yeah.
All right. They hop on my back as Nichols is on my back. Marty is on Nichols' back.
Hey, hey, Jill.
It's criminals all
hey,
the way down.
I'll just do a post-hypnotic suggestion on Jill, and we'll be like, hey, Jill, they want that away. They're trying to go further up the building.
She starts shouting for people to go there. They took the doctor. They're escaping out the west wing.
Right,
She starts
and
screaming and yelling.
I'll charge at a window, jump, do real cool like cannonball through it, and then 3-point
Smash.
superhero landing on the sidewalk.
The
It's
9th floor
very
above, all the way
graceful.
down, kablam! Everybody takes a point of damage because that's a long fall.
Can I physicality illusion and we land on a giant pillow, 10-foot pillow?
Sure, why not?
Oh, if we're only taking 1 damage, I'm gonna use my last point of moxie to draw a black card and negate that damage.
Okie dokie.
Sounds
You hit
so
the
good.
ground, and you're all able to get out of there. Eventually, Yulong kind of gets out of the building. I assume there's a diner meetup. That's where you've been going to. Group of you gets back to the diner. Yulong, you get a chance to talk a little bit with the doctor on your way there because you kind of got separated. So, is there anything you want to talk to him about, ask him about? Or you just hustle him over there as quickly as possible?
So,
Or do you go somewhere else?
I definitely want to hustle towards the diner meetup, right? With a combination of dimension steps to just kind of lessen the distance needed to travel, right?
Sure.
And hopefully by being able to strategically use dimension step to kind of like stay on like rooftops and whatnot, we can take the occasional breather, kind of chat along the way to kind of piece together what is going on.
Okay. He as he's running with you, he seems preoccupied. He's looking around a lot, like he's like paying attention to what the buildings and the people, and he's kind of looking up in the sky a lot. Um, Seems confused about some things. He's got a quizzical look on his face, but he's answering your questions as you go, and basically describes how um, he started being able to manipulate time in some manner or shape some years ago, and ever since then people found out that he could do that. Like people have been after him. He's been hunted all the time. Because they're wondering if they can basically use him for their own nefarious purposes. And he lists a number of different gangster by name, including people like Al Capone and Nucky Johnson, who are not in New York, who are in other cities around the country. Lists a few names you've never heard of.
Mhm.
Lists a couple of different he lists the Bureau of Prohibition, the Registry of Abnormal Person, the Registry of Abnormal Persons, which is a government agency that tries to track capers with powers. And he mentions a couple other organizations that you've never heard of, including one called StarCorps. And eventually, like he's describing all of this kind of in between all of his weird looking around and wonderment and quizzical nature and kind of wondering and being confused by things. And you all get down to the diner, Big Mama's Diner, and the group of you, you catch up, you and the doctor catch up with everybody else because they had the car, um, and get to the diner. And he looks to all of you and says, "Thank you for getting me out of there. I'm Dr. Jorge Rivero. People call me TikTok. And we need to get off planet. Where's your spaceship?" That's where I'm going to end your story because there's nothing quite like a cliffhanger if we maybe get a chance to play this some more.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to go off planet.
You know, Jorge really missed the opportunity to call himself TikTok.
Oh no.
That's
Who
true.
knows?
Um,
Well, awesome.
So yeah, for people who are wondering, that is a little twist of something out of one of the supplements called Capers Offworld, which is like Capers is an alternate history of where their superpowers during the Roaring Twenties, and then Capers Offworld is like all of that, but also we figured out how to go into space in like retro futuristic Flash Gordon style, with like jumpsuits and bubble helmets and ray guns and all that sort of
That's
stuff.
awesome.
My good Joker was at the bottom.
Oh no.
Oh, we can see now.
I never would have got it.
For the record, nobody pulled the bad Joker. For the record, bad Joker works like this: if you draw the bad Joker, you fail, you botch, and your turn is immediately over. You can spend no moxie or draw no more cards.
The bad Joker
Wow.
was 4 cards away from the bottom.
Mine was 4 cards away from the top.
I was
It was
2
really
cards away
close.
from mine.
2
Dang.
cards away from
Oh
mine.
man.
Mine
You
has a
should
nice
have
little
let us
skull.
go to space.
Oh, maybe we will someday.
That would be fun.
I would love to. That said, awesome game tonight. Thank you so much, Craig, for coming on.
You're
I
welcome.
definitely
Thank you. We
yeah.
had a great deal of fun. The game, if you look down the Nerdburger Games website on the Discord, the name of this event was called Heist Time. Time heist would be a little too on the nose. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
I
I
love
like it. I like it.
I
I
love
like
fun
it.
adventure titles.
Guys, I want to definitely say thank you so much, Craig. You've been wonderful. We really are glad that you came on the show and we're willing to run the game. I mean, you've been on a couple of our podcasts when we were doing podcasting back under Passion Nerdly. And, it's always great. This has been amazing. Everybody, be sure to go out there and go check out nerdburgergames.com. The Capers series is absolutely amazing. There are other great games that Craig has, such as Die Laughing, and really great stuff to get into. Go to his Discord as well because his community over there, last time I was there, you have a great Discord community.
Good
And
people.
yeah, very good people. And with NerdburgerCon going on, if you are looking to get in on games, and right now with with the pandemic and everything else in general, who isn't looking to get in on games? So be sure to go by, check out the Discord, get in on NerdburgerCon, and that's kind of it for me. But Craig, what do you got?
I believe if you got to go to the Discord. If you can't find it, you can find the Discord via, there's a link at the top of nerdburgergames.com. It's also in my pinned tweet. So you can find the Discord that way. I believe if you're jonesing for Capers Off-World, there are seats available in a Capers Off-World Pirates game. So it is space pirate gangsters in the 1920s.
Ooh, I'm jonesing.
I don't remember for sure what time it is off the top of my head, but it's out there. I believe there's at least a seat or two left in the game. And also, if you dig solo role-playing games, if you liked choose your own adventure type games or books, I'm running a Kickstarter right now for Secrets of the Vibrant Isle, which is sort of a cross between a rules light role-playing game and choose your own adventure. It is fully funded. It is moving toward a stretch goal where we're going to pay the contributors more. Everybody's getting a boost, a bump, a raise. So check that out. That runs for a few more weeks. So even if you're checking this out a couple of weeks after we post the game here, that's still up there.
Yeah.
Secrets of the Vibrant Isle.
Yep, I'm a backer. I love Craig's games, and honestly, the art on that book looks great. I'm
Is
definitely looking forward
wonderful.
to it. So, that said, I think that kind of is gonna call it for tonight. Guys, like I said, go check it out. Also, if you are into Capers action and you're looking for actual plays that have done this as well, I definitely want to say that Broadswords did one around a year ago, I think, as well. It is wonderful to go check out. They're actually, from what I remember, Broadswords are actually retiring this year, and yeah, so guys, it's an opportunity. Victoria, B Zelda, all of them are wonderful to watch perform. Or yeah. All right.
Quick note. It also, if you dig this game right now, you can pop over to nerdburgergames.com, go to the store. It is $15 off for the hardcover. It is as cheap as it is ever going to be. I got a whole bunch of them sitting in a warehouse because there have been no conventions to sell at. So I want to sell books, everybody.
Indeed.
Waiting for the moment, guys. Waiting for that moment because goodness knows I need me some convention time.
No kidding. That's enough plugging for me. I'm sorry.
All right. Nah, dude. Hey.
Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna go get one of those books.
Yeah, this is actually going to be going to YouTube. It's going to be part of our Seriously Let's Play lineup because that's what we like to say. Seriously Let's Play. It is our community building show where we introduce creators, gamers, and just people from all around the community, bring us all together for an opportunity to say, hey, seriously, let's play. All right. That said, everyone stay safe, take care, and go play some games. All right. Night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.